speak to you in a sec. Hello everybody. Okay, hopefully the audio problems have been resolved, maybe. Do let me know if you're hearing everything twice or more times. I know certainly okay for me. I think it was just Mrs. C. So yeah, we'll roll with it for now. So yeah, right, let's start again. So thank you for joining us on episode 3 of Delving into Dynasty. We have some great guests with us today. So we've got NasKillz and ClassyPax. If you want to say hello, guys.
Hello. I can't see you. You have to say hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
We'll get to the cameras in a moment. We've got no Havoc with us today because nobody can get hold of him. So anything that goes wrong is Havoc's fault, just so you know. Got a small update from Buckle because not a lot's happened this week. And then we're going to do some RP 101, find out about character genning and backgrounds and stuff like that. So excellent. Sounds great. Alright, we'll roll the intro and be back in just a moment.
Cool.
Excellent. So not only did I fail on setting up my shortcut keys, I also forgot to unmute my mic. Can we just start again? Go home. Damn it.
There's no going back, man.
We've already restarted once. Let's just go.
Shit.
Excellent. Oh, yeah. Buckle, you've apparently turned into Havoc. My apologies. You see nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. Do you, would you like to, continue while I fix that?
Sure. You want me to just jump into it while you're doing that?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright, what's everyone? Episode 3 of Delving into Dynasty. Obviously, it's been a slow week, and we have one last host this week. He'll be back next week, we hope. We're presuming he's not dead. Though we did send him 7,000 messages on Steam and Twitter, so hopefully he's fine. That just means we'll drop off any of the mechanics overview for the end of the stream, and we'll just jump into questions at the end instead. As you can see that, oh good, he's already fixed it on stream. Well done. Since it's been a slow week, since everyone's at PAX right now, we're going to have a smaller story update. Instead, I'm going to do hopefully something you guys like. It's going to be instead a I'm not going to call it a roleplay 101, but I'm going to call it a beginner's guide to character creation. So any of you guys who are hanging out in chat, you may already be into it, but anyone new watching the stream or new to the server, my process, kind of a generic process, how to come up with a character and character backgrounds, so you're not just playing yourself in the world. That's what I'm going to go over tonight. We got guests tonight, NasKillz and ClassyPax. Two pretty big favorites, leaders of towns, and of course, Classy has all his characters that become fan favorites. And then instead we'll skip over the pure mechanics intro, and we'll go into questions and answers. And of course, if you want to ask about mechanics, and if Cold Fusion and I know about them, or any of our guests know about them, we'll talk about those.
Indeed. Got quite a few I can tell you guys about.
Yeah, NasKillz has 1,500 hours or some shit into the game, so he'll be able to answer a lot of those for us that if we don't know.
Indeed.
There we go. I think we invite you along for some reason. Brilliant. Well, I guess we'll go straight into your update. Yeah, let's get going.
All right. So if you guys haven't caught up, and if you were planning on going to PAX yourself, and clearly you didn't because you're in chat right now, the story hit kind of a surprising twist where last Sunday was the last primary. I've been calling it the main story stream because that's who our our main streamers are. Our owners: Crom, Jam, Decoy, Vesper, DRD, Lou. The main guys who really have been pushing the server. They had their last streams for Life is Feudal that day. So what it had amounted to, the last time I left you guys last week, was we ran into a situation where Southreach was starting to rebel against the Seven Hells because the Seven Hells are filled with murderers and thugs, and people were tired of being under their thumb. Southreach being the closest settlement to Seven Hells, they were often getting the brunt of it. So we know that Nas, the leader of Southreach, had kind of branched out, tried to go north and find some allies, and people at Crucible kind of coaxed out of him that he was tired of being under the influence of the Seven Hells. And just as Nas started to reveal his plan, I really want to get out of here, his Lieutenant Einar was there. Oh, Jay, don't you? You're a murderer and a thug. Don't even try.
Don't sugar.
He's a viper.
Just as
snake.
Nas
Snitch.
kind of reveals, I don't want to be under their thumb anymore. That's when, here comes good old Grim around the corner, unseen by all of the Crucible, people watching on the walls, and that's my fucking town, so you guys better get some better eyes out there. Here comes Grim, and he's like, oh, hi. Give me Nas, and I'll go away right now. Or you guys can kill him, and I'll give you some. I think what was his offer? 10 horses.
He offered 100 gold bars.
100 gold bars.
For my head.
Yeah. So we're like, nah, we're not gonna let you go. And then Nas, true to his character, was like, no, I'll go with him. Off he goes. And so this happened off stream, and I'm not sure that we talked about it last week exactly, but Nas was led off to the Shield Maidens. He was brought into the camp and faced Crom, Sigurd, and was ultimately killed. So that's where we kind of left off. So at that point, it left, I believe this happened the day after, Southreach, now without a leader, what was his name, Hakon, played by Coffee Stain Plays.
Tuck.
Tuck, that's right. Tuck kind of rose to leader of Southreach, started making alliances here and there, started talking with TBS Bo's character, maybe we can all band together and fight back, and unfortunately, as Sigurd kind of got some word as soon as he was available that people weren't happy with that, goes right to Southreach, and they're like, we'll just follow your lead. And so Southreach capitulates to the Seven Hells, and unfortunately, having lost half of their people the week before, Crucible also creates a treaty saying, we'll stop fighting against you if you stop killing our people in the fields. So given all that, the two major players, and that's not to discredit anyone else, it was just Southreach and Crucible are two of the larger settlements in game, two of the most well defended. just kind of caved to the pressure of the Seven Hells, and that left Grim with no one left to fight. So Jam retired, the Grim Grey character. He's not gone, he's not dead, but like Asher, he's put back up on a shelf to come back at any time that he deems fit. That leaves Sigurd as the head of the Seven Hells, and we have yet to see really what Sigurd can do as a leader. Crom has mentioned that he may have to be more vicious as a leader. We'll see where that goes story-wise. We don't actually know. He hasn't said that in-game yet, whether or not he's going to rally up the people of Southreach and go fighting everyone, if he's just going to grab the shield maidens and start killing everyone. Yeah, Datsy, I see you. You just Legend hasn't come into play yet. We don't know what you guys are doing, and I think that's how you guys like it.
The secret guys.
Yeah. So one day Legend's just going to bust out of their gates and murder everyone, and that'll be just it.
Guaranteed.
You're already annoying.
That's already it. I want to know what's going on, but they won't tell us. So we have no. So Grim has gone. We don't know where he's gone off. He's wandered off to some other land. Sigurd is now the head of the Seven Hells. We haven't seen a stream yet where Sigurd's on a leader, as I said, because everyone's at PAX, and we're just kind of in a waiting period now. So that's where that's where we're at story-wise. We're just kind of waiting for everyone to get back from drinking their asses off in San Antonio.
Bastards. In the nicest possible way. Yeah.
So story-wise, that's where we're sitting.
Wow. That's, yeah. You see, I haven't actually been in game for a week, so...
Yeah, well, it's been tough with the server being DDoSed, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah. Unplayable for like 4 days.
Has that been confirmed?
I haven't looked at network traffic myself, but through, I'll say trusted sources, because I don't know for sure, yes, the server is being DDoSed for a couple of days. That's how much information I know. Yeah.
Terrible.
But if you guys haven't gone on, if you've been staying off of it because the server's been kind of crappy, last 2 days it has been golden, and those game patches have significantly reduced the number of crashes I've been experiencing, and I am like the poster boy for fucking game crashes. Sorry, but I will just be standing there and the game will crash on me. It won't even be the dreaded out-of-memory error. So,
Yep, it's been a lot better.
Yeah, so
Cool.
whatever they did in these last 2 patches, it has been beautiful. I still crash occasionally, but it seems to be doing alright.
Awesome. Might actually get back in at some point then. Alright, well, so there you have it. Kind of, I suppose a lot of that happened all last weekend more than anything,
Yes.
but
Yeah, all that happened after our last show last week.
typical.
Yep.
Oh well. Excellent. Alright then. Let's, why don't we find out about Nas?
Alright.
Speak to us. Tell us about him.
Alright. Well, good old Nas. He was always a good guy, and I tried my best to stay true to his character as far as that was concerned. I like to say, like I said in the facts about there, he's a good guy in a very, very troubled South, constantly having his strings pulled along by Grim and Helen. Constantly had him by the balls, so to speak. But yeah, it was a lot of difficult decisions I had put upon myself as the leader, in and out of character. It was a very big struggle to deal with a lot of things that were going on. We had defectors leave our settlement, and then the next day we lost 3 people to deaths, and then just Grim came in and just started, just puppeting my character away a little bit, as I like to call it. And it was, I don't know, it was one of those things. It was just a lot of diversity in the role play that had to go on with Nas as the character. Jeez. Yeah, one thing I can let know, since he's dead and everything, Nas was never really true to the Seven Hells, and he always wanted to align with the Crucible, but never could get around to it. Yeah, he had a pretty decent relationship with Rhea, spoke many times, and from the beginnings and stuff like that, and always seemed to, that whole one God thing really got his got his fancy a bit. But yeah, so I don't know. Any questions in particular?
Go on, if you got one, Buckle.
Just in my own in-game interactions with people from Southreach, I always got the impression that it was a divided town. So
Yes.
Einar and Took were very in your face about kind of the way they wanted to go talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
And we often in Crucible considered Einar was probably a double agent, that that he was always working for Grimm, and it wasn't until very recently that we learned character-wise that he wasn't. He was just very hot-headed youth kind of character. And
Yep.
Took, and hopefully I'm not giving away in-game secrets now, and I hope not, because Took is played by Coffee Stain Plays, so a lot of this has been seen on stream. He kind of follows power. So he was often out with Einar, but as soon as Nas died, he was on the side of, let's go after the murderers. But the minute the murderer showed up at his gate, he was like, "Hi, come on in. Would you like a steak dinner?" Kind of personality.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I believe. See, I don't even know what's going on with Tuck in character. Even on my new character, he hasn't really described like what his plans are for Southreach or anything. Besides the fact he wants to try to keep the people of Southreach alive. He doesn't want to lose any more of his people. And that's kind of his main focus. But I don't know. A part of me really thinks there's something more going on in there that he's just not telling us, and hopefully we can see some good stuff coming from that. That's going to be my guess as far as Tuck's concerned.
Nice. I've got a question.
Go for it.
How many man hours did it take to build that place?
All right. Well, I'd say about 450, give or take. With
Jesus.
yeah, give or take. We had about 12 people solid working at it at one time. I had these big things I was doing on and off stream. Like I'd be like, all right, today's terraform day. Everyone grab a shovel, and I put everyone to work, and we are just terraforming. Next day was, all right, today's wall day. Start working on boards, stone, clay, everything. We got, what was it? I think 237 walls, like 4 corner pieces, and like 3 gates up in a single day. It was pretty ridiculous.
You have 237 walls and you have 4 corner pieces. That is a feat of modern engineering.
Yeah, indeed. It was quite a bit, and actually, I know a lot of people are really interested to see how we did the terraforming and the way we did with the walls. The dirt butting up against the walls and stuff. Here, probably, I'd say next weekend. I'm gonna go ahead and probably do a reveal on that so people can see and I can show them and stuff. The person who showed me how to do it is no longer playing, but he asked that we finish the build before telling people and stuff like that, so I'm gonna respect that. But yeah, it'll be really interesting. That way maybe you can see some people more doing it maybe in season 3. It's a really interesting way to build. It's a lot of fun. Provides some really interesting looks as far as that kind of stuff. I'm the one that designed Southreach and everything, as far as doing it through the Google Docs and going step by step, walking tile by tile, figuring where everything's gonna go, how it's gonna look, all that good stuff. So
awesome.
You guys did the same thing in season 1 too, right? With the walls up against the dirt.
Yeah, we were the jewel of the South back then.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, you'll definitely.
That's awesome.
You'll have to let us know when you're gonna do that reveal. We'll.
Yes. Maybe I'll do it on next week's
interested.
Delving into Dynasty if you want.
I got a question. How's the dynamic of actually playing with your real life wife in the game?
That one's a fun one. Okay, so she's new to this genre of games and stuff. So normally she plays World of Warcraft or Hearthstone, things of that nature. And I got her into the game.
Married to the same woman?
Pretty much. And getting her into this, after kind of showing her the ropes, which I purposely didn't show her all the ropes. I had her go to people and ask for help, a little bit here and there. But some interesting dynamic as far as that goes, especially for my new character, which I can go and tell about this. Is my new character is in a romance story with someone that's not her. And she is, playing this flirtatious, spriteful little shit, I like to call it, with everyone else. And it's, at first it was a little bit awkward, but it's gotten to be a lot of fun, a whole lot of fun. Playing with the wife is awesome. I love it. She used to be sitting right next to me, but with all the role playing and me streaming and everything, made it a little bit hard for us to talk at the same time. So we had to move in separate rooms. But yeah, it's been a blast. If you can get your spouses in here, bring them in. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I put him up saying that. Just FYI, my wife's
Hey, Mrs. C plays. Not with me, but she plays.
completely separate town.
Yeah.
If it works, it works. And I said it before the stream started. A lot of my wife's new character roleplay is directly result of good old Classy there, and his interaction with Lola. That was good times. She was like, "That was fun. I got to do that more."
Which of Pax's characters did she interact with?
Patty.
Oh, of course.
Excellent.
It was good
Excellent.
times.
Speaking of, I want to know, was Paddy supposed to be Irish or Scottish?
I don't know. I don't know. Irish pirate. That was the concept.
His voice really reminded me of that one.
Billy Connolly.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go, Billy Connolly.
Who himself
That's what I got
Scottish.
the most.
Yeah, it's
He
like,
was Scottish. He was Scottish.
of course,
So I kept
between-
calling myself Irish, but I'm like, I don't really sound Irish. Okay, Irish pirate. There, problem solved. Just move forward.
Hey, if it works, it works.
That's right.
Dude.
Brilliant. So come on, tell us about Patty.
I don't know. I mean, he's all right. First and foremost, I'm a little hungover today, so everything that comes out of my mouth is probably not make a lot of sense. Patty he's an Irish pirate. He's the son of a whore at a whorehouse. Lived in the laundry room when he was a child. He was the best mistake she ever had, and yeah. And then in his teenage years, he sailed the seven seas with a band of pirates. I know this is way before pirate time, but whatever. Just deal with it. It's okay. Just live it, man. And Grimm's group of people came across the ship and slayed everybody. And Patty's like, I like the cut of you. I'm going to follow you around. So he just kind of goes wherever the biggest badass is. This Patty's concept. Like, if Grimm and Sigurd all to die, he'd be like, by whoever killed him, all right, you're good. I'll follow you. And so he doesn't have no loyalty at all. He just runs with whoever is going to do the most damage. And if I didn't die, the idea is that Hirona was going to play my mom at the whorehouse. And so I could like go to work and be like, oh, hey, Mom. And she'd be like, I'll be work, hey, you treat her like a lady by the hour, miss. So I thought it'd be great. But unfortunately, we never did get to go there. Because obviously, I had to go and like, I was getting really tired of picking flowers and farming and shit. I had to go do things, and I think taxing was like the easiest way to get stuff without having to work for it. And I'm like, hey, it fits the profile, let's do it. And Buckle repeatedly says it's not taxing, it's extortion. Sure, why not? In my mind, it's taxing. We're badass around here. You pay us because we're just gonna say we run this place. Why not? Yeah, that's just how it works.
Nice.
And obviously, it didn't. It went okay some nights, and then other nights it did not go okay at all. And that's why I'm dead. So. For those who, I'm pretty sure most people know that I died by the axe.
Talked about last week, yeah.
Obviously, it stirred the, which is the best. I'm glad he died because I don't give a shit about his. He didn't have a story. He was just this crass guy that ran around and just made people laugh while insulting them at the same time. So it was this great balance of like, wow, he's an asshole, but goddamn, he's funny. So it was a nice little equation there. But I'm so glad that he is dead because it made stuff move forward into a different story. Because what happened right after he died was gold. Because then all of a sudden you had all these people in this keep taking real life, like, holy shit, everything we've worked to build here is at a big risk right now. And they're sitting there talking about, do we let this Brody guy live or not? and watching that was just like, this is real. This is real. Like, this is good. Like,
No,
and the
so
fact
good.
the fact that even let him escape is beyond me. I mean, they
Yeah.
didn't. I'm amazed they just didn't be like, okay, we all know this is the horse fucker from Seven Hells. We should probably kill this guy right now. Because if he gets away, one, he's going to go fuck a horse, and two, he's going to tell Grim about us. So we should probably kill this guy right now. And then sympathy happened. I don't know why there was sympathy. They're just he's a lovable idiot, I guess. You know, like why sympathy? He literally came here to tax you with Petty, and then you're like let him go, and you know where he's going to go. So, anyways, yeah. So they were going to kill him. They're like, all right, family first before whatever, right? And then the guy pulls out that mace and, in Lou's way, oh no, run, can't kill Grim. It's like 30-minute chicken race in the woods with Lou panicking and not know how to press the flee button ensues.
Runs around in a circle, back to our homestead.
Just open your map and get a bearing, like Moss on the north side of Trees, man. Come on, figure out where you're going. He's like going like north, like God, eventually he gets back. So that was good. I'm glad that character died, just so that could happen, and that made the night even better. Because, so I'm glad about that. That was Patty's adventure. Basically, just no adventure. Just a fire starter, which is great.
Well, his death is what helped
I
spark
played a
the
living
death of mine.
matchstick. Yeah, that's fine. I don't mind doing that. That's good.
Awesome.
Well, it's good too. So something I was talking about last week was that, as you're saying, people have a soft spot for Brody, and one of the things I was thinking about was, is Brody a product of his environment? Like, can he be a rehabilitated kind of character?
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
So
Just dangle the carrot in front of him, and it's pretty much it.
Yeah,
Or an apple.
Give him a few horses.
Or
He's
a
good.
horse. Follow the horse, Brody. Yes, we know. Horses, yes.
I mean,
Give him a
obviously
giant tub
Lou
of
knows he's
horse
playing a
mayonnaise.
funny character, right?
Yeah.
But like, he played it in a way as like, Patty's dead, and he understands what dead is. But like 5 days prior, he's swinging a hammer, and he took that warglaive, and he wrecked Cletus. Not Cletus. Father Dunstan. So he knows what the red spaghetti out of people's heads are, but clearly Patty touched him in a certain way. Even though he's this rough, crass Irish pirate or whatever. So I mean,
It's because I gave him the most attention and positive attention. Like, actually tried to help him out of like a sympathy case wise, and the fact that Lou just wanted to have adventures with me and go on taxing because it's just fun. Obviously, it's fun for him. But then while we're on those adventures, we were talking about ways to like how he can stand up to Grim, like grow some balls,
Really?
basically. Yeah, we because it's a long walk between the kingdoms and on the horseback and stuff like that. And we only had one horse because everything died at Crucible. So my horse Winona was dead. I was living. I'm like, damn it! I had like one thing that I liked, and they took it from me. So I could not be the rider of Winona, the Winona rider, which is a darn shame. So we had what's his horse's name? Apples, I think it was, or something, or Applejack or something. I can't remember.
I
But
can't remember either.
yeah, we would
Right.
walk around and we were talking about things because obviously he wanted to stand up to Grim because he didn't want to get married off to Shishka's character, and so I was just trying to like make him sound tough, and it was Lou brought his A game. He's just like, my lord, no, I killed no. It was a pretty magical moment between him and I and stuff like that. So we had a good gelling, it was really good for pinging back and forth because you had this guy, he doesn't really care about anyone or anything, but he's got this half wit that's with him doing the tax collecting. He's kind of useful in a sense of just being there. So help the guy out, why not? I mean, if he ends up dying, who gives a shit? It's just a half wit. And then Brody just looked at me because I'm the only one who ever didn't talk down to him, really, like in a sense of like, just do this. It was more like, just come, let's do this thing. All right, you don't know how to use a sword, all right, let's get you fucking trained up so you can be useful in combat. And that's where that ended up being. Should I swear so much? I should calm down and
That's
swear.
all right.
It's okay.
Sorry.
Very first episode, I just busted out like how Jam speaks and dropping the C-bomb everywhere. So
All right.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Yeah, I definitely think he caused some fun times around the server.
Did.
tax collecting is a good way to get out and meet everyone on the server. I thought that was brilliant when you were doing it, and yeah, you get to see what people would do when put into that situation. Are they going to fight, which is the de facto, here's how we respond in Life is Futile. Let's have a trial of combat instead of actually, let's try some diplomacy and talking our way out of it. Can we escape? What? Oh, just pay them off. Some of the reactions you got were, I thought, pretty good. I mean, some people paid, some people shot arrows in your ass. I mean, either one, it's a good way to go around.
It was much easier when no one had walls, because we went out and just like, we didn't have walls. Let's just go and quickly do this because everyone's really vulnerable right now, and I have freaking chainmail on the sword. Yes, and everyone I came across was still in peasant clothing and shovels, and you could just see it in their face, like, oh no, why now? So, oh, hello there, no walls, dirt, shit, scraped. Give me what you got. So it was perfect. I knew you were freaking holding out on me, Buckle, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I knew you were, like, all these buildings, like, one pops up right in front of me as we're talking, like a brand new one. No supplies.
I forgot about that. The herbalist shop, we had just torn it down to make a better one.
Everything's being used, man. Everything's being used in a herbalist shop. Oh, really? No rope. No fabrics. How did that get there? Oh, look, a well that takes like 10 rope or something? Really? Okay.
I was trying to show off our great well.
Magic.
Everyone at Crucible is using their freaking like team speak when they're in like hardcore working mode, talk with people up on the mountain and stuff like that. Like breaker 19, we're breaking down some more shapestone over. Breaker 19, got a copy of that. Crucible, we'll have that in no time over. Come on.
Whatever. I gave you.
You're not
some rope and some
RPing.
flax.
I mean, you're not RPing in that sense because everyone's trying to like get this magnificent place up and running and stuff like that. But it's definitely like I can know for a fact, Buckle. When I was talking to you, you probably went to like, oh shit, Patty's here. He's doing. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Just get out of there, man. Don't give him our flux. Don't give him the flux. That's for this.
No, I'll tell you, when RP, we do talk, you've been in TeamSpeak, we do talk in TeamSpeak a lot, but we mute as soon as we get into RP scenarios. I had 30 flux on me, though, and I refused to give it to you, and I bartered down to flax and rope.
I was happy getting anything at that point because I was just like, all right. Then Havoc just like had this. That's the only thing that makes Patty livid is when you talk behind a wall or something. When I can't get face to face with you. Because then there's that real life tension of like, wow, he could actually kill me. No, he's behind a wall talking about me through the herbalist shop. That is, and then of course Melly did this beautifully at Legend from behind the keep, playing this little girl who wanted just nothing but stories and just playing coy with me. That's the only time that Patty gets pissed. So Havoc helped you
Pigtails.
in a sense, just get me like, I want to get the heck out of here. This is just crazy. So kudos to Havoc on that for sure, because he was definitely pushing some buttons. That's for sure.
Yeah, we talked about it a bit, and he might have ended up killing you, but because Harona was there with Helen, that's what stopped it, because she was able to stop him, and then it ended up being, your character continue on, and like we don't want to kill a lot of people there, and I think a lot of keeps are like that. They don't want to kill people right out with, because the more people alive, the more stories we can get against them, so they come to a natural head kind of thing. But like, it only makes sense to come with someone coming around saying, giving you nothing and demanding your things as a tax, should end up, getting their ass beat a little bit. But it ended up becoming a really funny encounter. At least I thought, I'm chasing you guys around, please don't fight. And then meanwhile, you guys are fighting back and forth all through town. Like, all right, do whatever you're gonna do. I'm gonna hang out over here.
Yeah. It made for an interesting evening.
Yeah, you could tell you were in charge rather than Harona, because you're like, all right, let's get the fuck out of here, and Harona's like, but I want to murder all of them.
Yeah, Harona was pretty fixated on actually doing something, but I'm like, no. This is way too early. They don't even have the damn walls finished. Let's just. I mean, if I killed Havoc, I wouldn't care too much. You could make a new character and grind back up quickly. I mean, whatever. The thing is that nobody really knows anything at all. It was just so early in the game, and Crucible was this mysterious place full of these worshiper people, and then just like, they really dig this god dude. All right, cool. Let's move on. Like, have you seen the light? That was a little bit of an awkward moment at Crucible on the first visit when I met the actual Pope, the guy that grinded right up to 100. And I'm glad that got fixed actually too, because we should obviously avoid that a lot, bringing like real life into it. real religious like that. But when that, I think you already know what I'm talking about, Buckle.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, that was a little awkward. But since then, I mean, like you guys had some. I have yet to see when you guys talked about it, about that idea of like at high noon, where all of Crucible goes down to the water and does their purges.
It's because everyone was murdered.
You can still do it with new people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everyone gets some nice silk robes and just down to the river we wash away our sins. Like that.
Well,
think
interesting
cool.
enough, there have been a lot of priests popping up all around the server. So it's been interesting, talking about like dividing the real life out of it, and some of them going really hardcore real life religion, and some of them are taking back, going to the more mythological type.
You should
style.
definitely make up ones for this game for obvious reasons, just to, it is all role play and stuff like that, but sometimes people can take that real life facet and get offended into it, and just to save everyone's spirit, make up your I praise the chicken god. I mean, just do it. I mean, it's fun. It's fun. You can take it seriously in game.
There you go.
For he is the poultry on high. I mean, just it'd be great.
There's a lot of agreement.
There's a new character right there.
Well, I already got that character rolling, so don't worry about that. We're gonna be kingdom to kingdom missionaries for the great poultry gods. It's gonna be good.
Is that the god that BJ worships?
No, we were actually going to do this on a different server if our server was not back up yet and running, because these are like quick throw characters, right? You don't need anything to do it. You literally just start walking around and doing it. This is about like build like a church and this big. I mean, you could to add that that omniscience, that omnipresence, but it's just so long to get there to do that. And at the rate that I die in this game, not a good idea. I barely have enough time to breathe and have like a 4-course meal before my character's already dead. So yeah, I die a lot.
Brilliant.
It's all right. Well, that's what I mean. I mean, like, death is the only kind of thing that people go after in this game right now, and I really like to see that change. Everyone's just all murder. Let's do something else.
Well, I think that might have been pent up rage from season 1, of where it was tension the whole season, just like when's something gonna happen, and then every big battle that happens, like everyone shows up, and then just 2 people. It never was like Clash of the Titans, a big group of people fighting, because everyone knew that the server was gonna go to high hell if everyone went in a big duking spree. So everybody definitely wants to have their moment. I want to actually finally use this sword that I've been just having on my back for how long, instead of using it on boars and bears all day long. They want to see someone die.
Yep.
But then there's that fine balance of respect out of the other person's character too. So you try to get yourself in a situation where, like, can I make this guy mad enough that he wants to fight me? Let's do that. So it's a fine act. Yeah, obviously this season is like a flip of the coin compared to last season. Of where, all right, okay, we're gonna wrap it up to 9. People are gonna die a lot. Why not? I think now that we've had a taste, we've had our meal, and now we've had our dessert. Maybe now we'll just sit back and like just role play it through, and whenever something cool happens, we'll just roll with it. But
here's what I'm hoping, and I hope we're not going too far off the question track here. It's that season 1 had a lot of duels, because the idea of like 20 versus 20 would make the server weep and then crash. So now the server seems to be significantly better. We could actually have a full-on brawl, and we had a little bit of that, at Crucible. I don't mean to keep bringing it up just because I'm there, but we had a taste of that. But like 5 seconds into it, we all struck down. Bunch of people hit one guy because he was wearing the same armor as someone on the other side. So it makes it really tough, and that makes it kind of neat, because it's a big confusing melee that, like, if the role play all builds to it, where we can actually have a real battle and change the plot, it can be there. The server can do it. But like, let's hope let's just hope the RP is all there to lead up to a battle that then everyone can watch. Because there was an awesome sneak attack on the 7 Hells, but no one was streaming. So, I mean, that would have been awesome. Great. Oh, people jump the walls. Let's have a fight. But like, no one's watching, no one's recording, so you're going to lose it.
Yeah,
other
that's
than
the
the
fine
moment.
line of, like, you want to go and do something and, like, get something done. But at the same time, it's like, you got to respect the storyline for some of these people that actually do this for a living.
Yeah.
It's like, I get it. You can do that. It makes sense. You're not metaing or nothing like that. But can you just, like, take some time and plot and think about it, let the guy go live, and then do it? Because it'll make sense, a lot more sense, because they're going to be sitting there offline, in game, doing things. Here comes this big epic battle attack, and you're like, okay, that would have been great if we were live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like having actors going in, like, doing their full performance in front of you, and Steven Spielberg sitting there on his coffee break, and the camera's not running. Like, why? Why? Great man.
Yeah.
I like that analogy.
But we did try full-fledged combat. I don't know if you watched the Albert witch hunt that we did.
I was
on
watching parts of that,
Sanctuary.
yeah.
Yeah.
I missed
So-
it.
15 people with last name Albert, all in this keep, swinging pitchforks at bears and a witch. It worked pretty good. There was a couple people that desync, but it ran relatively well. The server didn't go caving on us and stuff like that. And everyone had torches. On top of that, everyone had
Literal
torches.
torches and pitchforks.
Yes,
I watched literally everyone had
Nice.
torches and pitchforks.
Yes. So it was very orange, well lit, maybe too well lit. Like the skin textures, everyone looked like orange peel, like like some of the California tans and just. But yeah, it ran relatively well. There was actually a pretty good little adventure right there. So
Yeah.
for us on this server, and it's a pretty powerful server, for us to do a big fight, I think it'll work.
Mhm.
I think if we had a big like cavalry fight, horses get a little weird.
Yes.
But if I think we had a big
Horse
cavalry
combat's
fight
funky.
or a big line fight with those formation systems and stuff, and see how that dukes out, 5-on-5, 6-on-6, I think it'll run smooth. I really wish that some little hidden rule, I wouldn't really call it maybe a hidden rule, but something like that, of where when you're part of a certain faction and you get into these fights, maybe there's a certain piece of clothing that sticks out so you know who's your teammates.
Tabard, pennant, anything to
You
let
know,
me
like,
know so I don't.
we got
Yeah.
another boot
Teammate
gang.
would-
I don't know. I
Well,
don't know, something
I
like
did
that.
see on their FAQ that eventually they do want to add tabards in.
Tabards
That would be nice.
Yeah,
That would
wouldn't
be-
it?
To run a flag or even like coloration of some sort, right? Because obviously, if you could have a chest plate and put your own like crest on there of some sort
Mhm.
for your
Yeah.
group, that would be just that ramp it right up to 190. I mean, that'd be just great.
Yeah.
Because
straight
right now
up.
it's just like
Yeah.
you're in a fight and like who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Looking at the names like yes, Nigel, you're going down. Okay, it can be a little tricky to find out who that you're firing at. But if you're looking at like green versus blue, then it's like I know what I'm looking at, shapes and colors, and that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was watching. I think it was Jam one day, and this is something that I think a lot of people have been playing with. Have at least the party leader, even if you're not standing in the formation, at least put join the whole group, and then put the formation on the ground, so you can at least see the guy on the ground. He's got the triangle around him. That's our guy. That kind
And
of
it'll help out too, because you'll see that one doing that list. Like, oh man, he's almost dead. We gotta protect him and like get behind him, make him like go back behind you. And if you're doing the
Yeah.
formation thing, you can make a wall and defend. You'll need like a good like leader to do that, but it'll add a different dynamic instead of just a bunch of chickens with their heads cut off and just trying to like just it gets messy.
That for
Just gets
VoIP
messy.
TP working correctly.
Yeah, and the void too. Yeah, you're about to die. Can you hear me now? That always brings us such a great
Oh,
facet
oh,
to
no,
the
oh, no,
fight.
I need to clear my ears out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I remember doing some training with Crom and the people over at the main's place, and we're working with group combat at that point. And nothing is worse when you have your group leader spitting orders out and you don't even hear a word they're saying.
Mhm.
You're just like, what the crap? And then it starts chaos ensues, and
Yeah,
everyone's
go off on
hitting
this big
everyone, and then-
monologue, and you're just
Yeah.
like monologuing, and then this guy just starts walking away from me. I'm like, I am not done. He didn't hear a word of that, did he? Shit.
yeah. Yeah.
It's like,
Brilliant.
well, that's when you're in TeamSpeak going, is this guy talking? How should I be reacting?
And
Should
then
I
just
be
see
moved?
That, then you
I'll be
just see that
moved.
flailing head. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Can you
Yep.
hear me? Yes, he can hear me. That fits his character quite well. How's that neck doing? Broken.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
Oh, man.
Oh man.
Oh dear. Right. Stay back on track slightly.
Yeah, we're all right.
Yeah.
Go where it
Good.
takes you, man, and just when you get to the time points, just move to that next time point.
You expect us
Is
to
this your
have
first
time
podcast,
points?
bro? Is this your first podcast?
Not quite. It's my third. Give me a break, man. Give me a break.
Oh, okay, good.
So Nas, I believe you've got another character that you're
I do.
currently working on.
I do.
Care to share anything about him?
Yeah, I could share a little bit of information. I mean, I'm still working a little bit on him and whatnot, but his name's Jorth Mormont. The best I could describe his personality is like a mix between Jorah and Bronn from Game of Thrones. You know, a little bit of honor, but can be a little bit of a scoundrel if he has to be. Um, he's going to be a sellsword, so you give him money, he'll kill people. Um, and going to kind of go with what I was doing before on Nas with helping a lot of people learn the combat in the game, because a lot of people really need to, you know, grasp the combat and how the combat works and stuff. So, and I spent a lot of time training a lot of people at the Shield Mains, people from South Reach. You know, anyone that was willing to ask for help, I made sure I help out with that. So that's kind of what
That's
I'm
a
working
good
on with him.
idea because I damn near killed Banani in a Higginbottom's raid. I was a raw dude with a stone axe, and he was down to 10 hard health, and he had full armor and a freaking battle axe.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, dude, get better, quick!
Yeah, poor Benai.
You got almost killed by a Higginbottom. Like, dude, that's not supposed to happen.
No, not at all. He was on the verge of that. I think he had like 10 HP or something. Yeah, that was good. But yeah, the new character is going to be fun. He's in a roleplay relationship with a character named Tyra Aaron, who her sister is my wife's character, Nadia Aaron, and all that stuff. We have some good stuff going on. But
So wait, you're dating your
still a little
wife's
to-
sister?
Yep.
Ouch.
His character's dating
Like I
my
said-
sister characters. Fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
You know, and it's funny because we had that conversation. You know, people ask us all the time, "How do you do that?" And you know, me and the wife are always like, "You just gotta discuss the boundaries, and it's okay. You know, just go from there." It's, I mean, hell, I let her sleep with Pax for Christ's sake. It's all good.
So there you go.
We were bed testing. Let's get that right. Bed
Bed
testing.
testing. Bed testing. Yes.
Bed testing.
Yes. Just kidding, man. But yeah, so new characters should be fun. I know the three of our role play is gonna be a lot of intertwined with each other, and we're pushing more towards a like fun atmospheric role play when you come around. We got Nadia with her innocent flirtatiousness that just drives me up the wall in character. And then a little jealousy factor from myself with the other the character that I have a relationship with, and we're opening up this tavern and stuff. Like I think we're trying to aim for like Tuesday, I believe, or something like that. And it's called the Naughty Nymph for good reason. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I mean, we've already had a blast. If you've caught like any of my streams or coffee streams, and we have this thing going around right now that we're Tickle Reach instead of South Reach, and I don't. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious.
Awesome.
Yes.
Excellent.
Have a giggle,
excellent.
good time.
Indeed.
Yeah, it sounds like some fun times ahead then.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for.
Awesome.
The whole political thing with Nas, I just was like, I'm glad Tuck's taken over. I can have some fun this go around. I don't want none of that political no more. That was driving me crazy, And then to go a little bit more off of that with Classy's death, it was his death really sparked a lot of things for Nas, because it caused Judith Ingvar to come to my place and seek asylum, because she knew that there was going to be repercussions from Grimm, and Nas being the guy he was, she asked for safety. He made her his ward, and that's kind of where it pushed Nas from being in good terms with Grimm to Grimm's like, oh, you're holding an Invar without me, you need to come kill her, and my character reluctantly agrees to him in face, but he knows there's no way he can do it, and that's what brought him to the Crucible at that point. That was Nas's like defining moment of, I can't deal with this bastard anymore. it's time to do something about him. So
It's too damn bad that too many people are too scared of Grimm and Sigurd to actually fight back.
yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that they get so much information too. Oh, it's like every time you try to plan something, there's a mole everywhere.
Yeah, damn
There
moles.
there's a mole everywhere. You
Wave
talk to
rush.
someone.
Horrible
Yeah,
plague
yeah.
of
Yeah,
JZ bugs everywhere, I tell you, man.
It's terrible.
He didn't even know. He was just lying.
Rumors
Yeah.
rushing like the wind.
Yeah. You know, and
Where did that happen? I heard it from an old tree.
it was pretty good. You know, and part of the reason why Nas didn't accept the sanctuary that you guys provided is because I didn't want there to be massive repercussions to you guys. And character, my guy was like, they've dealt with enough. I originally came here to pay my respects, and I can't bring more death on their doorstep. So I'll give my own life in lieu of it. So
Which is a very cool character trait. Not a lot of people would do that.
nope.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
real
glad-
life as well, right? So
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad to be done with it.
We should change the name of this season to No Country for Old Men because nobody lives long.
Right. Right.
well, the ones
The
that
towns will flow with blood. Yeah, we know that already.
Well, it's that every death really has been. I don't want to talk bad about the deaths in season 1, but there were some meaningless deaths in season 1. A lot of the deaths, even though I'm bagging on death, saying murder maybe shouldn't be always the option, make them do something else. It has really opened up really cool RP possibilities. It's like Patty's death sparked, Ingvar Homestead wiping itself out in fear of like retribution from Seven Hells, which came anyway.
That's a good death, though.
Well, sure.
For that reason.
Yeah, it was a great story-driven death. Nas died. I really wish that had been on stream because just Grim showing up, taking him away, bringing him to the Themyscira, to the Shield Maidens, having like them all talking beneath the window you're looking out of, saying like please don't do this, and then fighting Sigurd and dying. I mean, like that's some amazing stuff going on story-wise.
Oh yeah, it was good. I mean, when I was in the keep, I had Grim, because I was on the second level of the keep. I had Grim blocking the stairway to go down to try to escape, and then I had Sigurd come out at me with this big axe, and I noticed a couple times, between trading blows with Sigurd, I saw a nice little javelin poke me in the side from good old Grim there, and it's like,
Really? You just got real, so.
Hey, you do what you got to do. But yeah, I was really kind of hoping out of character that they would like take me prisoner, and that way I could get a little more something done, maybe off stream, maybe kind of weasel my way out of it, or try to. But I already kind of pushed my limits with Nas and Grim. So, but yeah, it was good.
Nice.
Yeah. But I mean, there's been a lot of really good, deaths in the season so far that I mean, they drive the story like that. They've been really showing off some cool stuff. So like Nas, even in that situation, really fighting for what you believe in there, and then Took gets to rise to the head of Southreach, and you get to see where he goes with that. Is he going to actually, is Nas's death going to be the thing that pushes him over the edge to really fight back? I mean, like he's got these big walls, use them, hide behind them, send runners out, go find allies. He had, I'll tell you, the day in game that he capitulated to Sigurd, there was an interaction with him in game that day saying, I have soldiers, I have men, I have money, let's fight back. And he's like, yes, let's do it. And then Sigurd shows up on his doorstep and he's like, I don't want to fight. And then that's an interesting character development from that, from Nas's death, and which came from the Ingvar girl coming to Southreach. And I think that's it's really stepped up over last year, where it's like, I don't like your face and I'm going to cut it off, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I know, like I said, I think we have some interesting things coming with Tuck.
Sure.
But he hasn't really told me out of character, so we'll see how that goes. Definitely.
Yeah, man, I can't wait till they tuck shit up.
Yeah, another interesting develop too, because like you had William come down, and William and Tuck kind of did their whole thing, and I remember your character was there talking and stuff, Buckle, about that whole thing before Sigurd showed up. Okay. Okay.
I think you're gonna have to spill the beans now.
I'll give it a little bit later.
But to go away from you, sorry.
You're
With William's stuff, he started. I don't know if you guys caught any of Mike's streams with William. I think it was Sunday or no. Wednesday. I don't know. It was one of the no, yeah, it was like Sunday, I believe. And you know, he was just going around, you know, just he was out for blood. He was like, enough's enough. I hate this bastard. You know, stirring trouble between seven hells and mains and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, you know, he shows up on our doorstep and he's like, "Can I join you guys? I need a safe place." And we're like, "Wow, Tuck's not around. What do we do? What do we do? Our characters know nothing. We like William. Sure. All right. Let's see how that plays out." But it's just so many interesting interactions, like interesting choices, you know, that characters make that, you know, almost don't make sense, but they do. You know, you just like, you know, like why did William choose to come to us knowing we're an ally? You know, does he know something we don't? Does he know something about Tuck that we don't? You know, and that's, you know, all the stuff that makes everything just so damn good and so damn interesting in the long run.
Yet another deserter of the Shield Maidens.
Hey,
Hey,
it's only fair.
That
We
know
lost
of.
3 deserters to the Shield Maidens. It's only fair we got 1 back. We got 2 back, actually. So that was good.
Interesting.
Yeah, TBS Bo playing William Long, doing a pretty good job at towing the line there over what's acceptable to each individual town.
Yep.
That's cool. It's cool to see so far. So
Yeah.
if you guys aren't following his story, check that out. It dovetails nicely to the rest, and TBS Bo is a pretty damn good role player, in my opinion.
Indeed.
And one of the few brave enough to do it with his face on screen as he's doing different emotions in character.
Oh
You
yeah,
can do
that's more
Yeah.
funny than watching him laugh his ass off and trying to keep in character.
Yeah, it's true.
While singing a song.
Yes.
Because I noticed
Yes.
he likes to sing a lot.
Yes,
Which
it's
is
true.
great if you've got the voice. But he does, he really does. It's pretty funny to watch though.
Yep.
But he's a great guy. Obviously I had the pleasure of a few interactions with him while I was at the Shield Maidens. And no, I liked his character. He was another hard worker.
Yep.
And
Are you part of the Shield Maidens Cult Fusion?
I was.
You were.
I was.
Oh, before the.
Yes, he
massacre,
was.
so to
No.
speak?
Yes, he was.
I didn't die. I didn't get killed. I left. I left of my own free will.
Oh.
After that first encounter, right after the
Free will or in the middle of the night?
Nah,
Be the same.
there wasn't much running involved because everybody just kind of left.
Ah.
Yeah, it
So,
happens.
yeah, and everyone was out hunting, I think. I was just like, well, I've been replaced by 2 people. Meh, I'll go.
2 people for half the price.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, if they need 2 people to replace me, I'll take that. But yes, yeah, I was, but I left a while ago. But,
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
it's all good. It's all good.
One of the OGs right there. OG Shield Maiden.
Was, yeah. But then, well, the only person that actually is left from that is Sylvia.
Yep.
As far as I know, she's still alive.
Yep. Not gonna be married to Brody, as far as we can tell.
Yeah. There's one character from the Shield Maidens
No,
that
you're
I got my
lying.
eye on, and that's Stitches. That's the guy who plays Stitches. I love him.
He's a good guy.
He's so sneaky in the way he does his stuff. I just don't even know. Like I'll be sitting there like back on Nas when I was role playing with Helen all the time and doing that stuff. He would just always just like show up right behind me in chain. I never heard him once, and it's like, dude, don't scare the shit out of me like
Hi
that.
there.
Stitches is
Uh,
pretty treacherous, in my opinion. He's been in everyone's camp doing stuff.
Yep.
So, he's a character to watch so far. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah. There was always something funny about him.
I'm pretty sure he stole some of my chickens. Just throwing it out there. Just putting it out there. May have stolen some of my chickens. I don't know. Can't prove it.
I bet he stole the Shield Maiden's chickens.
That's right. They all went missing.
Yeah.
I know I kept stealing their poop all the time. That was fun.
So that's why nobody could get their skills up. Thanks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, between
Every
that
time I'd
and
go
Maddie.
role play with Verona, she'd be like, someone stole my damn poop again today, and I'm just trying like not to laugh out of character. I'm like,
Well, you put them
Whatever that
outside of your
was.
monument's border.
It's not even outside the monument's borders. You
Yeah.
can actually still clean coops if
Well, no
they're
one
in the
claimed him.
monument.
Sorry, I should have been like,
Yeah.
Shishka
Yeah.
should have claimed him for how much he's online. She should have
Yeah.
claimed him and just took care of him.
It claimed them or put them inside walls. You know?
Yeah, inside the actual walls, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put him by the tanning tubs way in the back and call it the loud area. And like, just don't even talk over there. And just nothing but.
It's loud and it stinks.
Let's
We don't-
plot by the tanning beds. Let's not.
At
Well,
least
actually,
nobody would
there's,
overhear you.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was going to
Or
bring it
each
up.
other.
Yeah. Well, if you bring it up, whispering does play with the in-game VoIP. Whispering has been playing a pretty big role when people are nearby, and so using the in-game sounds to an advantage is a pretty good idea, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But you can turn down in-game sounds, which has a 50% chance of actually working for your tanning tubs and coops. So maybe it work, maybe it won't. But in-game VoIP changes things like that, so you want to take advantage of sounds if you can.
Yep, definitely.
And Life is Beautiful has a lot of obnoxious sounds.
Yes, it does.
I hate the swamps and the frogs. That drives me the most absolute crazy.
Never
There is a
heard of
way.
frog.
There is a way to get rid of them. You
Murder?
turn off grass. You don't hear the birds. You don't hear the frogs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. I did not know that.
Yeah.
But the grass is so pretty.
I don't right?
I know, but
Nikki is going to get such a punch in the face.
Oh.
I'm gonna. Oh, I love her.
brilliant. Okay, let's move on a little and let's talk about RP 101.
RP 101. I'm trying to avoid calling it RP 101 because no one ever watches me could ever say that I'm a fantastic role player by any stretch.
202.
5.7.
There we
5
go.
out of 7, perfect score. I've been doing it a long time, and there are just beginner guides to create a character, and I see a lot of people in a lot of chats talk about like, I don't know how to get into roleplay. I don't know what to do. I'm shy. I don't want to do things like that. And I mean, obviously these people aren't streamers because streamers don't have any shame whatsoever. But so like adding your voice element to it, it is definitely a step for some people, and it was for me. I had a long time, tabletop D&D, certainly, but
Yes.
text-based and other kind of games. Adding your voice into it, and then, and don't think it's the wrong way, Pax. People see people like you with the with the voices, the
1,000
accents,
voices. Yeah.
the larger than life characters, and they become intimidated.
Yep.
By like, I can't do voices. I've seen that routinely in Twitter and in Twitch chat and stuff. Like, oh, I can't do voices and stuff. I can't create a character. I can't RP. And I really want to impress the people like the voices. That's icing on the cake, right?
It's not the voices, it's the content.
Exactly. So
Yep.
it's like,
Yeah.
the voices are only ever going to work if you have a believable character beneath it.
Yep.
And that's really the main thing. So since this has now become, when it was a sub server, it wasn't really RP heavy. Now we're saying with the whitelist server, it is an RP kind of thing. If you want to get involved and you're intimidated by the RP factor of it, it's really kind of easy to do it. It's not you have to think about it in the right way. So it's like what I really want to talk about is the first steps. How do I create a character that I want to be? Now, if you just want to get out there and start role playing, just the very basic thing you do is put yourself in the world. That's it. Just put yourself in there. How would I react in this? Obviously not to 2016 thinking, but year 1000 thinking, your own emotions and things like that, and put yourself in these situations. And that's pretty simple. It's easy. That's how a lot of people get started. But like, if you want to create a character and actually progress with a story with it, what do you do with that? And so I think there's only real 3 things to think about. And that's how whenever I create a character, that's what I go with. And it's what are the primary motivators, what's their emotions and disposition, and what are their personality traits. And that's how I go with it. And that's how you go about creating a believable person who is a unique character. Like every single person in the world is a unique character.
And yes, being slightly drunk absolutely helps. I had a couple beers before getting on camera. I do
Yes.
every time. So it's like, when I talk about a primary motivator for your character is like, what gets you up out of bed every day? Well, that's not going to change very much for your character. So it's like, we're talking about what's your personality? What are the things your character likes to go for? And it seems a little two-dimensional to start, but like, it's really what's your character's main drive? You know, is it do you want to go out and spread a certain faith? Do you want to go out there and get as much money as possible? Do you want to sow chaos? Do you want to create order? Do you want to free slaves? That kind of thing. Just get that kind of two-dimensional, on-paper thing that your character is supposed to really wants to do. And then you surround that with emotions and disposition. So think about what a person is like in their resting state. You know, are they happy? Are they sad? If someone were to come up to that person and say, like, hi, how's it going? What's that character's response to it? You know, if they're melancholy, that's what their resting state is. If they're happy, they're the kind of person who's like, hi, how's it going? What are you doing? How's it going? You're like, for me, let's stay away. But that's out of my comfort zone, a character I'd like to play, right? So find out what their resting state is, and then the mood. How strongly do they feel those emotions? So what is their full response to that kind of emotion? And the last bit is the personality traits. So you take those first two things. We got someone who is really faith heavy, but a little bit melancholy. How do we take those two bits and make a real person out? What are their personality traits? You only need like 2 or 3. And really, if you really want to get started in RP, you take those first 2 bits, and it's how do I emotionally, how does a happy person, a melancholy person, an angry person respond to inputs? And you would think that sometimes, like, if you think about old school D&D alignments, and people will think like, oh, all good alignment people are happy, all bad alignment or evil alignment people are angry. It's not really true. You can have an angrily good person and a happily evil person. So if you start thinking about those two opposite poles, you can find out how someone who is, when they're really angry, instead of fight, walks away. Because they know that their primary motivator is not to fight and kill everyone, it's to bring them to their faith. So, oh, you're really coming at me with all these different things about you're against my faith, you're against the things I believe in, and you're making me angry, but I am not going to respond in that way. So if you start thinking about just these few little things, what's this character's personality, then you can, whatever it is, just drop them in the world and let them go. And I'm going to say there's no real thing that says this is out of character. Because once your character is let loose in the world, they're a real person. And you can't say something is out of... No one can criticize you for being out of character, so just run with it. And if you feel like you didn't respond in a certain situation the right way, adjust it in the next thing. So there's nothing ever to be intimidated about when you're faced with people who do zany voices or over-the-top characters or who make videos or who stream. Just get out there in the world and interact with people and build a story around that. And the only real rule I would say is after you've done that character, stay in it and let it grow and adapt. Because if your character is the same after every interaction, that's probably the only RP sin you can commit. Your character, like any real person, is going to grow and change after every new bit of information they put in. And maybe it's just you're more true to the character, you get more stubborn. Like, there's people in the world who no matter what you throw at them, they're like, oh, they're more firmly in their viewpoint, or they start opening up and becoming something else. And that's the only thing I'll say about that. And then if you guys like that kind of context, I can talk about it some more. But that's the way I approach characters. That's the way I do with characters. As long as you're always moving and growing with the story, you're role playing, and it doesn't matter if you got a crazy Irish pirate accent voice. You're using your own voice. People saw my new character and pegged it was me immediately because I don't do voices. I just can't. So I just go with a story. And yeah. And I would also say that a lot of people love making huge, long, elaborate backstories. If I say, hey, how are you going? And you say, hi, I'm this guy with all this elaborate backstory. Maybe hold off on that. Keep that. Know that information in the back of your head for your interactions. But on Life is Feudal, Twitch Dynasty, maybe don't go that in depth because you're probably just going to die. That's my only. That's my 2 cents.
Agreed.
Yeah, true.
That's half the fun, though. Half the fun, though.
Yeah. Well, if
Sure,
it's
sure,
short, if
absolutely.
it's
I
campfire
agree.
time, sure.
Everyone's got a little bit of a
First night?
notepad document.
Absolutely. I hope so. I really hope so.
Yeah,
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
You know, it's
keeping a
always
lot
good
of
to
notes
just,
helps.
Get a good
It's,
idea of what you want to do and just put yourself out there and get into it, especially if you're new to the VoIP RP.
to me, it's half having a plan, knowing what my character is like, and half improvisation.
Yep.
So, like, and then just kind of mentally referring to, oh, I'm in the situation where I'm pressured into a fight. Does my character fight? I mean, it won't be a long decision where like, oh, I don't fight, or ooh, I do fight. Like, it's that kind of thing. And like, oh, I haven't fought the last 5 times, but I've really bullied into a fight. Do I fight this time?
Mm-hmm.
That's where you kind of go with it. And then, if you live or die, I mean, that's kind of thing. Going into a situation where you know you might die as a player, but your character is confident they're going to win, that's tough. But understand that your character might die, and that's okay. Just roll up a new one.
Yep.
Sometimes you might leave a lasting mark.
I'd say one of the best things is being adaptable in Twitch Dynasty, because no matter how much you want your story to go in a certain direction, there is never a guarantee it ever will. And you always have to constantly adapt. Like, I tried that in Season 1 with my character, like, I have, like, a way I want to push my character forward, and with all the different character interaction you get with all these amazing role players, you have to be able to adapt and just, roll with the punches, so to speak, because nothing's ever going to go according to plan, ever.
Agreed. Best laid plans of mice and men.
Yep.
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 Yeah, so
Yeah, we figured that out the moment we tried to go into battle. Okay, if someone attacks us, this is what we're going to do. Immediately, everyone dies. Well done. We stuck to the plan. Woo!
Yep.
Yeah.
So we know how Buckle makes his characters. How about you, Cold Vision? How do you develop your characters? What's your process? What's your method?
So I suppose I tend to focus on the backstory first. I won't necessarily tell people what my backstory is. I build all my characters starting with the backstory and forwards, and then I'll think about, what skills will I need for that, how might I react to situations in game, and then I'll just have like pointers. So, for instance, my current character, etc., he is, when I listened the first week, but he's an ex-watch captain in the Holy Roman Empire army, who did blacksmithing for them as well. But that's just what people know. There's a whole backstory that nobody knows because nobody's ever asked. But I'm always sort of referring to, I was forcibly retired from the army, escaped the death sentence for that, and I've seen war, I've been through all that. So most of the time, I don't want to get into a fight. But if I've got no choice, I will, because I'm a trained soldier. I know how to use my sword and shield, etc. And the way I I suppose the way I use that in game, I'm always trying to think like a soldier. So one of my last encounters was I met a hunting party. They were out hunting deer and things. But it was the first people I'd really met since leaving Themyscira. So I was a bit on edge. And obviously they're playing the hunters, and so they started surrounding me. And so my guy's trying to back up and reduce the angle of attack all the time. And I don't know if they sort of figured out quite what I was doing. But I did sort of bring it up, I was like, you're trying to surround me here. I'm just trying to get into a safe place here. And in the end, it actually ended up diffusing the situation, because they sort of realised, hang on, we're 4 armed guys surrounding him. Because I was no threat to them, really. There were 4 of them. There was 1 of me. Even if I did have quality 100 armour, I was no threat. And so, I mean, nearly all my characters do quite have elaborate backstories. Most of the time, nobody ever bothers asking, so nobody ever finds out. But for me, that's part of my love of roleplay, is creating the backstory, creating the character. And they do end up as living, breathing entities, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean I get salty about them when they die. I've been through far too many RP situations where I've had massive backstories, I've been this almighty powerful character, and then I got stabbed in the back and killed. You get over those things pretty quickly, even if you are 14.
No one will ever know the story about that great backgammon tournament that I won. Damn it.
I know.
That's what I mentioned the way I did. Like, I feel like a lot of people are very quick to start pointing out the backstory because they're very proud of their backstory, as they should be. Especially if you put a lot of time and effort into it. And so you only get really 2 or 3 minutes with any one given person that you want to get out as much as possible with them. And you really want people to recognize, look at the effort, look at this character I made. That's awesome. But yeah, just like in real life, we don't go around talking about, like, here's everything that's happened to me up to this point that I shook hands with you and said hello. So
some people do.
Yeah. Absolutely might. You're right. So it's just my way. The way I was just describing is not at all the absolute way to do it, but for people looking to dive right in, either one of our ways works. Come up with that whole backstory and then figure out what the personality is based on that, or flip it around. Either way works.
Absolutely.
Yep. I just tried to develop my personality and then just let my character grow from there, from my interactions with other people.
Yeah, that gets you right into it, and lets you be very organic.
Makes you pliable. Yeah, you do.
Pliable. That is a nice word.
Actually, a lot like Cold Fusion in a sense. There's like 4 facets that I try to follow. Know your character's history. So write very vaguely in a paragraph or so from birth on to the point of where you're at this island. It also will kind of also make a light action up to your moral compass as well. Once you know kind of a rough back history, you can kind of see like, okay, he had a shitty life, he had a great life, whatever. And then you can use that as your moral compass, and if it ever comes up, it's just in your back pocket, ready to go. So it's obviously, I have been in 13-7 battles, and I've slain 12 dragons. By the way, my name's Tom. Like, yeah, obviously, yeah. Bringing that out right off the start is probably not the best idea, but it's good. It lets you know what's going to guide you in the future for when it comes to engagement. So when you've done this in the past and someone comes up to you with this problem, is it higher or less than what you've done in the past? And that's how you can gauge it. It's like, please, I've done this. Or, holy crow, I've never done that before. And that will really help you, in a sense, throw yourself forward into those interactions and engagements. Second one is going beyond basic facts, basic things. Just do a little more delving into, especially the core elements of your character, instead of just, I really like apples. Why? There's got to be a reason why you like apples. What made you like apples? Still things like that. You don't have to make a whole bunch of them. It can be very primitive to what facets or basic facts about your character are, but just put a little more attention to detail into it. And then basically delivering your character is a big one too. And the way to deliver your character, at least the way I like to do it, is to be the one who puts the questions on them, make them talk to me, and vice versa. So it's feeding the other person in the engagement. I've said this before and stuff like that on stream and stuff like that too, when it comes to like role playing and how to get engagements going. It's just, imagine if you had like a plate of food in your hand, they have a plate of food in their hand, and the idea of it is to put your bowl in front of their face and they eat, and they put their bowl in front of your face and you eat. So it's all about answering their questions and then trying to follow off into something to give to them, and asking them a question or turn the tides on them. You're always putting the spotlight on the other person, and then that's what makes a longer and much more interesting engagement, instead of just you having your random you're wrapping off on a monologue or whatever, and the other person's just sitting there just like listening, like, all right, cool, like, wow. No, if you can have it go back and forth, then it's great, because then all of a sudden it becomes just this conversation within game, and it's naturally going to happen and flow much more fluently, and you'll find a lot more about not just their character but your own character through this engagement and how you react to their answers to your questions. So that's how I kind of like throw it like that. And the last one is dig deep, but this comes from time. You can't do this off the get-go. You can't go deep off the get-go. That's a bad idea. It's all about first day of school, go out, meet people and stuff like that. Once you get around and start meeting people and seeing the same people over and over and over again, once you have that comfortability in place, you know these people, then dig. Then you start digging deep. Not just with their characters, but your own character as well. because obviously, yeah, your character evolves as things go on and things happen, and that's where you can take the time, even out of like role playing and stuff like that, when you're not in the game, stuff like that. Think about what you did that night, what happened, and think about like, what would that guy do? Like, just take a little time off the side there and like, okay, so next time I come in, maybe I'll bring that up. Like, like I've been thinking about that a lot these days, and I want to talk to you about it, and just work it in there a little bit lightly. Obviously, some people, like the ones who are here because obviously it's a role play first server, and they're here for like the gameplay. Let's say, like they really like building these massive keeps, and who would do that? And stuff like that. And the role play just kind of comes in there, and they want to do a little bit of it, but they don't really want to focus so much, and they want to just build these cool things too. Maybe you should make your character at least more focused around that, so that people know that you are a worker, and you do have some traits, you have a backstory and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you don't want to go off on these crazy adventures and try to kill the king. You just want to be this digger guy, but then think about some really cool things that you can bring to the table with that thing. Little nicks, things that bug you, and stuff like that. I really hate it when people put logs horizontally. Put them vertically for me, please. Things like that. That'll actually add a lot to the RP, believe it or not. So if you're just a wall builder and hey, I told you to put those logs horizontally, you'll be amazed how much that can bring to even little squirrels within the kingdom. It's actually really good. Yep. It brings great side story. That's Herbert. He only likes logs vertically, so don't mess with his logs. And you'll be amazed how much that brings to your character too. It could be something as stupid as that, but you'll be stapled as something like that as well. And all of a sudden, people will be coming to you, whether to listen to that rule or to intentionally break that rule and see what they can do to push your buttens.
Yep.
So you don't need to make this massive, complex dragon slaying, I've been across the whole world and I stopped the apocalypse of the mushroom men. You don't have to do anything like that. You can be just as simple as just some guy who just has quirks, and you'll be amazed how much that can do. It doesn't even have to be that.
And the first person to put throat lozenges in game is going to make a fortune.
Careful, you get timed out in some chats mentioning that.
There was a lot of Christian Bales this season for sure too.
Another thing concerning the people getting new into roleplay that are new into it too. I've came across this question a few times. Is I try to tell people when you get into like a community or something like that, you join a village, join a town, especially if you don't know them, a lot of times they'll get in touch with you out of character, be like, hey, hop into TeamSpeak and stuff. I think it's best to try to promote not using TeamSpeak as much as possible, so you can really get into your character. There's situations where you should use it if you're really talking about just really mundane things, stuff that doesn't involve anything in character. But for the most part, try your best to involve your character as much as possible. Every interaction, even if you're going to ask for a fucking shovel, do it in character. They'll be like, hey, where's the shovel in TeamSpeak, and I know there's a lot of people guilty of that. I am. My people in my town are, and I'm trying to push people towards it. Let's really get into our characters more. Let's get that interaction a little bit more, and let's start putting TeamSpeak on the sideline a little bit and start doing everything in character, even from asking for food to the simplest mundane tasks that you need to go about, and it really helps liven up the development of your character at that point too, because you start getting a lot more of the regular everyday interaction over the the visitors you may get that really will pull you in a certain direction, and it does help.
I agree. I'm very guilty of the TeamSpeak stuff because I know there's people in my particular group who aren't wholly committed to RP, and even in general. If I just want to know where the fucking shovel is, I don't want to have to go, blah, 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 where was the shovel? And then whole RP it out when I just want to, dig a ditch. But it's a very good point, especially if you want to be a very in-character town. And I think that's really good advice.
Something that subconsciously happens with TeamSpeak, too, is the fact that a lot of little meta can sneak through and stuff like that, other people starting and stuff like that, and sometimes it can be hard to decipher that between what your character actually knows and what you've heard through TeamSpeak. And sometimes your brain will just mix the two up together, even though you try hard not to. It'll spill every now and then. I remember that killer. Oh, yeah, I wasn't there. Shit. Stuff like that can be, and it's not intentionally being done. Just sometimes it just spills out.
Yeah.
So having, like for example, what Vicon said in chat, is that it's great if you're just like in grind mode, doing the things, and talk to somebody lightly and occupy the time. But the secret is like not to like, oh, someone's with me right now. Oh shit! Oh no! What do I do? And bringing the real situation in. Try to avoid that, obviously. Or if you get into a situation, I just recommend muting, and then you just can't hear anything but just what's happening in game, and then it's like, hey, you muted for a while, but yeah, just role playing. Just don't even have to say anything about it. Just role playing, and then move on, because they don't know. They don't know what happened to you there.
Yeah.
Do they have to know? No, they don't have to know. So.
Yeah, I'd say another mistake I made in season 1 too is I made too many characters. Therefore, meta was getting really, really hard to decipher between each character. I had like 8 characters, I think, or something like that. And wow, I would get on one character and talk about something. They're like, "How do you know that?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, that's right. I don't know that on this character. Oops." And you just have to roll with it at that point. And that brings up another thing too. Meta gets out there. Meta happens. And I think it was you, Buckle, who said it to someone else, and they related it to me, is you just got to roll with it. At that point, it's information, and you have to go with it in character, if you've heard it in character, and don't get mad about it, don't get salty about it, just do your best to just roll with it, even if it's pure 100% meta. So
that's it.
Once the genie is out of the bottle, so to speak, info is out there. It doesn't matter how it got out there. If it was a slip of I heard it in TS, I saw it on my stream, whatever. Just roll with it. It's cool. You may have a good interaction out of it. You may end up dead. You may kill a guy. You may have a bad interaction with it. It doesn't matter. The info's out there, and just go with it. And then it's kind of why I want to talk a little bit of RP tonight, because I had no story to talk about. Was just that it's a lot of people get worried about what's proper RP, and maybe it's not a lot of people, but I do see that thought echoed a lot. It's like, what's good, what's bad, and don't worry about it. Just go out there and have fun and be a character, and don't really worry about like are people gonna think I'm a good role player? Because it doesn't matter.
I found this image and I put it up on Twitter, and it's like I found it was a pretty light but funny way to live by with your role play, and I want to see if I can find it. Dang it, where'd it go? But basically, it said the secret to good RP is you aren't doing it wrong if no one knows what you're doing. So I figured that was a good way to basically say. Here, I can even throw up a link in chat. It was a good little picture too to illustrate it in a. Okay, I'm not allowed to post that.
Rabbit hole.
Mrs. C.
Cool. Why?
Sorry.
But yeah. It's a nice lighter way of saying, basically, don't dwell on it. Don't dwell on it. If you're worried, because obviously, sometimes I'll say stupid shit when I'm in RP too, like, oh no, I should have said that. The secret is just don't get your mind stuck on that. Just move forward naturally, and you hope that the other person in party won't glue onto that either too.
Sure.
You're like, wait, what? Or maybe they'll try to role play that in and just work around it and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's the best people are gonna play off of what you're doing, and the worst people are gonna take that and wonder about it and hope that they incorporate whatever you said or did into their next interaction. And that's all you're doing. It's a living, breathing world, whatever game you're playing, be it tabletop, Twitch Dynasty, whatever the hell you're doing.
Yep.
All this is ever going to be is people are playing out their stories, and they're smashing into one another, and sometimes you get fights, and sometimes you get marriages, sometimes you get a horse fucker. It doesn't matter. It's all, hopefully you're entertaining yourself as much as you're entertaining other people. That's the way I've always encountered it. And then, yeah, if you never come up as a person in chat being like, wow, I hope he's king next season, or he's awesome, he's a great fighter, it doesn't matter, because you're just going about your thing. There are what are we, they got 250, 300 people on the server right now, and on this show we talk about 15, 20 of them, and they're all out there having great stories all on their own, and we never see them, and that's fine, because they're doing their own thing, and those stories may dovetail back into the main story, or they may not, and that's just going on all around us, just like real life.
Yep, definitely. Every story is important.
Yeah, I think Vicon has just nailed it in chat as well. He's just saying, proper RP is wherever the story takes you. Doesn't matter if it seems dumb or meta. If something slips up, roll with it and let the RP flow. I like that.
That's like
like
Dune
Genesis.
shit right there, man. The spice must flow.
We actually had 2 questions come through while we were talking about that. Let me throw them at you
Yes,
guys.
yeah.
All right. Boog 6008 asked, how do you respond in situations brought to you that you are not sure you want to be involved in without breaking character or resorting to out of character?
Ooh,
That's a good one.
question.
That is a
Yeah.
very good one.
RP your way out can be tricky. It
Yeah.
can be tricky, especially to keep magnetizing to you.
I was put in that position a dozen times on Nas from Grimm and Sigurd and Helen, and you just have to roll with the flow of it. That's all you can
Yep.
do. Out of character, in character, it doesn't matter. You just have to just keep rolling with the punches and try your best to not screw up with what you're just trying to hold true to your character. And you know that I got accused a lot of, you know, Nas, you're flip flopping a lot and stuff. It is because of those exact situations. Is like, you know, out of character, I'm thinking, you know, how can I make decisions for these other people when I don't want to say, yeah, you can kill them, you know, without their permission. And then on the other hand, you got to provide, you know, from a leader's standpoint, you got to, you know, provide that strength as a leader, and it's really hard to roll with. I mean, it's
There's always the safety
the-
word of the gods. You can
yeah,
always use the gods as your way out. Like, sorry, I would love to, but I have to intervene with the gods.
Yeah.
If it comes down to it. And
Yeah.
usually that's like the key word for a lot of people in this game, obviously, do, because they've been using the gods for everything. Like, oh, the gods are brutal today with voice and stuff like that. So if you ever want to get out of a situation and you don't want to commit to that RP and you really feel like you need to get away and they're dragging you away, just like, I have to interview with the gods. I am sorry. That's the most RP easy way of saying, no, I don't wanna.
yeah,
Leave me alone.
Yeah, unless
you
your
would
keep's
hope,
just
though.
been invaded and Jam keeps you talking for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
yep,
You
Yep.
really hope
Though that it's, as much as I don't like attributing everything to the gods, if you like I had to get up in an RP situation because my dog knocked down my Christmas tree. Shit. I heard a big bang out of game. I have to go deal with that. I would rather people. I mean, that's just a personal wish. People would use I have to go to the gods to deal with something terrible that's happened. I have to take a phone call. You know, I have to. You know, my lunch break's over. That kind of crap. As opposed to like, I'm gonna die here. How do I get out of here in an RP?
Well,
fashion as fast
that's
as possible?
yeah, that's
yeah,
yeah. In those
Yes,
situations,
difficult.
but you put yourself there too, as
Yeah.
well. Those
Yeah.
ones, the ones you cannot control or stuff like that, or the fact that you're in grind mode and stuff like that, and you're being asked to come into something right off the get go. If you've already
Mhm.
committed halfway and trying to back out, that's a different thing. That's different. If you've already followed the breadcrumbs, how far? Yeah, then you shouldn't back out out of
Yeah.
respect for the person's role play.
Yeah.
Because you've already dragged them along that far. Yeah, exactly. If you have a sword to your throat, well, how did I get here? You know what I mean? Like, you're probably committed at this point, and you should not back out now. But if it's like
No.
like in a first interaction or the beginning, or you're doing something else completely, and someone's trying to like pull you away from something else, then it's a great way to get out of the role play.
yeah,
But if you're getting into a situation like what Buckle's talking about, where you're about to die or something like that, your only way out is to role play your way out, relentlessly. You better
Yep.
be good at it because you put yourself there in the first place. So if you don't want to be in those situations, don't get yourself in those situations in the
exactly,
first place.
exactly.
well,
Don't
and
play the
note,
character
too,
that's going to end up dying because obviously if you asked for it or you just got dragged into it. Yeah, those ones are a little trickier because you just we got to think about, well, what did I do?
Mm,
Yeah, I mean, it's
exactly.
they made it clear in the whitelist rules that this was a server for roleplay. So even though
Yep.
you know I'm half guilty of it, I'm with a group of people who love to build and just be big and wonderful and stuff
Mhm.
like that. It's like, and they wanted to build and like, this time around, guys, you got our RP, and everyone's like, all right, yeah, let's go ahead and do an RP, and you hear like some grumbling, like, oh god, someone's at the gate, I have to go down and talk to him, and we're all like arguing, who's gonna go talk to him,
You should look forward to that. Like, ooh, someone's here.
Sure, it will always depend on the situation, that kind of thing. It's like,
Always
it's-
excited.
yeah, that's the first and foremost thing. And I'm like, yeah, sometimes I'm like, oh, it's 3 a.m. I just want to finish this wall. And here comes some guy and he wants to talk to me. And I'm like, okay, fine. And here, it doesn't even matter if I'm going to die in this situation. It's just a thing where it's like, you talk to him and get out there. That's the goal of the server, is to talk and have stories and to interact with one another, regardless of what it is. And sometimes you may just need to say, like, I'm sorry, I have to go. I have to get back to work. And most people are pretty good, like, oh, okay, all right, take it easy. If you're in a war, don't say, oh, I got to get back to work, because they're going to cut your face off. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, to go more with what
Yeah.
Pax was saying is, with the gods and stuff like that. One thing I've learned in Twitch Dynasty, we there's gods for everything. Absolute everything. Twitch gods, TeamSpeak gods, cat gods, dog gods, baby gods. You know, so if you need to use the gods for anything, you know, unless it's like really hardcore, super, you know, life or death RP, most people are like, all right, do what you got to do. You know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, most people would just be like, all right, cool. I'll go wander off and do something else.
Yeah.
But actually, that dovetails nicely. Unless anyone had something with that, Nas's response just had a good dovetail into the next question. All right, cool. Vicon asked, he personally builds characters' backstories and lets things unfold in a way that lets other people really craft. He says he likes to lay the foundation and let the co-stars build the house. You know, that's how he's broken it down with his group. But he says, do you guys like to be the star of your own story or just a piece in the puzzle?
I
I'd say
think
it depends on the character.
I think the star role thing has to do a lot with two facets: what your character is and your RP ability. You have to back up. If you're gonna play a big boy, you gotta back that up with good RP, hands down. If you don't feel comfortable doing RP and stuff like that, don't play king. Don't do it. Don't play someone who's gonna be in charge of a big group, because expect a lot of shit to come your way. It comes with that type of gravitational field. When you have guys like Moon and Jam and Crom and Herona and Vesper and Decoy and stuff like that, and I like playing the side characters, except for the King. My retarded King is pretty fun, but but expect a lot of interactions. You just can't walk away from them. You have to engage with every single one of them, unless of course you're with another one and then someone else has come in, but you're like no, leave, peasant. I'm doing something right now. But that just if you don't want that, don't play that role. Don't make your character that role. If you're still getting into that RP facet and trying to figure out the kinks, play step by step, baby steps until you have that confidence build up. Then all right, let's ramp it up to 9. Let's see how this goes. And you might end up dying quickly, because when you play those gravitational roles, people want to be with you or against you. It's that simple. You're either going to have a lot of people banding behind you or a lot of people wanting your heads. That's just the nature of being a podium player. It's just going to happen. Roll the dices, man. Don't get pissed if you die. That's bad. Be happy that you died. At least you went on some cool adventure. Think about what happened, and don't reflect or don't dwell on the now. Think about everything that got you there in the first place, and just think like, oh, I did all this. Imagine what type of things are going to happen because I did this.
If
Think about the
wants
benefits
to
going
kill
to come
your
out of that.
character,
Exactly.
You've done a good job at role playing.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So.
Exactly. If you're going out there with Mel Gibson blue paint picking fights, then live it well. Live it well, because it'll be short.
You sure
Not
that was a
everyone's going to
3-hour
take that
film?
shit lightly.
I have to agree with that. I mean, especially with that, you know, you piss someone off and you're doing something right now. I thought it was pretty cool with my character is, you know, the people that killed me threw a pretty damn good funeral for me too. I mean, that was pretty damn good.
Makes no
I know,
sense.
right.
I didn't even get a funeral, so
I know, poor Patty. Another thing to touch up on that too is, you know, even if you think you're a pretty good role player, always prepare for the unexpected. Because I tell you what, my first interaction with Grim intimidated the hell out of me out of character. The absolute hell out of me out of character. I was like, okay, you know, the reaction you have to go with is just try your best to prepare for it. It's gonna come. It's gonna come, especially if you do like what Pac said. You're trying to do some kind of big character. You're gonna come across, you know, that at least one point in your character. So.
Yeah, it's tough being some of these like tougher characters and stuff like that too. Especially when you're in situations of where you're in a server like this one, where you should give ample amount of warning before you go and raise your sword and kill somebody. So let's say, for example, your character is a very short-tempered man. This is a tough one because you have to think about also the other person's stories and their background story. So you also have to have that RP back it up really well. If you're going to play a tough guy, you better come off as a tough guy. Otherwise, it's going to have a hard time transferring. So you don't need a fancy voice, nothing like that for that, but you better be good at conveying that you are a short-tempered guy who will kill you in a matter of a short time. And if you're not good at conveying it, you better verbally say it a lot and give that guy ample amounts of warning. Because if you just come up to them and have an argument with them and say, like, for example, you disagree with something that they want, and they're like, you know, like, I want to kill you now. Like, really? Off of that? Because I don't agree with you on some opinion of a matter of fact? And like this happened to me. I'm not going to name any names like that, but then he gave, like, and a person like this situation did actually kind of happen, of where he went and gave the character his final warning before he was going to kill him to somebody else, without even letting him know that if he did something again, he was going to die. So when you're playing these bad people and stuff like that, and you're playing these powerhouse people, you got to think about your actions, because I mean, it's so cool to think and sit there and dwell on your own character and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I'm such a badass, but at the end of the day, we're all here to have fun. You got to respect other people's fun at the same time. So it's tightrope work with that stuff.
Yep.
It is. It's tough.
I agree with all that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
So-
So.
Gosh, I got cold.
Oh, so I was gonna say, so generally, I prefer to be like part of the cogs in the machine, rather than play somebody who's out there.
Mm.
And excuse me, dying over here. Yeah, and I think it comes a lot from when I did play like D&D and things with my friends. I was always the party leader. I did the most damage. I was the most outgoing, and I was just sort of, I've been there, I've done that. And then I started sort of switching things up, so that I started playing most of the time just a nobody really in the group. Nobody really knew I was there but I was always needed. And since then, loads of kind of characters I've just gone with, because I get the most fun out of them.
Every character is
Plus-
important.
Yeah, exactly. That's just it. So I mean, like when we first started in season 2, etc., with the Shield Maidens, I mean, I put up 3 of their gates, half their walls, armored most of them, but I didn't make a fuss about it. I just did it, got on with things, and most of them appreciated it.
Yep.
And your
I
character
think.
name was very rarely said on stream, which is
Yes.
a mark of how you're playing that character very well. You know,
Mhm.
that base went up, and I never saw those girls, lift the hammer. So it's like clearly the work was being done by someone, kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
So-
yeah. But I mean, yeah, that's me. If I was gonna go out there, I would, because I've got that RP experience to play either way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think really, you gotta go with what makes you more comfortable at first.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you feel like you know what, I want some I want some recognition and stuff like that, make sure you're at a comfortable phase to do that, because the minute you put yourself out there, there is a little bit of vulnerability with it, and you're gonna have to roll with the punches for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So take your baby steps, obviously.
And play to your strengths too.
Yes. Oh,
Yes.
huge. Play to your strengths.
There's
Yeah.
there have been some characters going around, and I don't even remember their names, so I'm not gonna do, that are like, they want to be the big tough and swagger kind of guys, but they don't put that personality out there, and it's not a hit on them. Maybe they haven't learned how to do it yet, which is fine, because everyone wants to be the hero of their own story. Everyone wants to be, or the big hero or the big villain. Either way, they are the main character of their own story. But knowing that we're working on a tapestry kind of idea, all of these people are crafting stories all together. Sometimes playing a lovable coward, as Clammy did last season, he played a character who, if I acted that way in person, I would feel bad about myself. But he nailed the role of this guy who was terrified, tried to back out of every situation, got cornered kind of thing, and he nailed it. He was a beautiful character that was just, scared. His father had been killed by the same character he was talking to, and that's, if you can pull off that kind of personality. I'm not saying everyone go out and be a coward, but know what you can play and play to that first. Get a handle on that, and then once you feel like you've nailed that strength, figure out what's uncomfortable for you, then chase that. So, as I was saying earlier, start with not a big boy character, or big girl character, But once you feel that you've got the foundation down and you want to get bigger, then
Build
go
that
to-
confidence. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go to that place that scares you. Oh, I don't know if I can go out there and be that kind of guy in front of people. That's the kind of role you should chase. Then you grow as a role player.
Yep. Agreed.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Okay, so did you get the question from Almo?
Let me back up here.
That's right, I got a copy of it. So
Oh,
Almo
I see it. Yep.
is just asking a question of Pax. That's right, he's been vetted. You don't need to worry too much. And he wants to know how you are with the many characters you take. Is it better to give it all for one character, to put everything in it and see what happens? He's like I can understand doing something for fun, but regularly, isn't it getting old really fast?
I didn't get the last part. What was
Oh,
that?
sorry.
What was that question?
So yeah, so you say, is it better to give one character everything you've got and see what happens, or do having many characters, does it not just get old quickly?
Making new characters as they get old.
Yeah, because I mean,
I think
going
it's
through-
asking about having a lot of different characters compared to just putting all your
Putting everything
apples
into
in one
one.
basket.
Well, I usually have I always have a primary character that I'm running with, and I'll take. Some people will take one character, really think really hard on it, and perfect it before they even bring it into the world. I'll put 5 in there, and I will go into engagements and see how it goes. I'll make their backstories, their moral compass, stuff like that. I'll come in as a new character, go around, meet people, see how the conversations go, see how he is interacted with, and start to wean out the ones that, like, okay, in this world with everything that's going on, he doesn't fit well. Or there's no room for this dude, there's no room for this dude. Like, I'll have 5 guys on the go. Maybe one's dead or whatever, right? Maybe I'll introduce one, he dies like on the second day because of bad interaction and no one ever saw it.
Yeah.
So some guy's like, hey, I just met this freaking weird ass dude on the beach. I don't know what that was about. And I'm sitting there like, okay, not a good idea. So I enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoy making characters. I'll make as many as I can. I love, the more I can bring in, the merrier. It becomes this hard juggle between, because in this roleplay server, it is, how would you put it, 70% grind, 30% roleplay, because the game makes you.
Sure.
Because if you want to be respected in this game, you just can't pop in and expect to be in charge. You have to put your nose to the ground and build these walls and build these places, and then people will listen to you a bit more because you're doing what everyone else is doing. Everyone has to do it. There's no way around it. You're not going to pop in with 100% plate armor and expect to do well. No. Guess what? You're making crops. You're building fences and keeps, and you're smelting and melting. You're doing everything. It's just everyone has to do it. Even the kings have to do it, and the big villains have to do it. So I'll make a bunch of throwaway characters that can visit this place, or I'll bring one in and see how he interacts with people. But at the same time, I always have that core dude that I'm working with, and I'll go as far as he'll let me go. And right now I got like this, the one that I end up picking with is this crazy dude who was on the island, this Barry Jodine guy. He's technically the first settler except for a 500-year-old tree, which Jay Zed's playing. And wasn't there like a rule about that, going outside the game mechanics? I don't know. That one's harmless. That one's harmless. So I'm playing another crazy character, basically kind of like him. I was just by myself for a really long time, no social interactions. Finally, I took the trip onto the main island, took a pea on a tree, claimed it as my own. Yeah, the island's mine. So obviously, two things are going to happen. People will be like, no, you don't. Dead. And then, or like, all right, I'll follow this dude. So far, it's been awesome. Absolutely awesome. So, like, all right, I'm rolling with this guy. Because by day 1, I had chainmail armor and everything. Like, okay, yeah, we're doing good. And then, then other parts of meta story happened of where, everyone's banditry thingies kind of like fell apart with someone leaving. I think everyone knows about that. So we'll see how this goes from there. But it never gets tiring. Never. No, I love it bringing as many characters. And if I think anyone ever watches my characters like that, I think you've learned to know that I never make a serious character. Ever. Like, I never make really serious. I mean, Valdemar was borderline, but he was because he was a more passionate guy. But he was still a goofball. I never make pure drama characters. I just can't. I can't. It's too boring for me. I need to just make. If I can hear, I know it's maybe not something I should focus on, but if I can hear them laughing through their microphone by accident, I've done my job. I've done my job. If I can make them break RP, I've done my job. I feel that's where my reward comes from. It's where I can make your RP difficult. So if I can hear like Lou or Grim or anyone I meet, like I went because on my first tax run with Patty, this is a good example of where I was like, okay, this is something good. This is something good. I went and met this married couple by the beach. I got a YouTube video about it. I'm pretty sure you've already seen it, me and the people. And I met these two people down the beach, and I tried to hire his sister to work at the whorehouse. Didn't go well, obviously. So the next time I go to meet them, obviously they should be upset with me still, but I went, and it was just the girl by herself on this hill, and it was myself and Herona going around late at night, and the minute she saw me, she's like, oh, hey! And you can hear her like getting really excited, and then she cuts the microphone off. I'm like, yes! I made an imprint! I did it! That is where the fun comes from. So if I made a character who was too dramatic and stuff like that, and people were more like, oh no, not you again, I wouldn't feel good playing that character at all anymore. So that's why my characters are always like light fluff. And if they die, good. It doesn't matter. I get to make a new one. I'm happy about that.
I think though that the "Oh no, not you again" played well with Jam's character, because when Grimm showed up, there was going to be the other side of that. So drama is tragedy and comedy, right? So as you're running around as comedy, he is walking tragedy. So it's like, oh no, Grimm's here.
I like the idea of always being Jam's verbal artillery. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like sick Patty on him for a little while and see where this goes. But that was basically. But Jam plays those strengths really well. Like that,
Correct.
He plays a lot of very dramatic characters. He likes those really serious moments. I'll get into a serious moment, but I can't do it
ruin it
forever. And ruin it. I don't mind ruining it for sure, absolutely. But yeah, I can't do that. So no.
Valdemar had that great moment at the end with like the poison and whatnot at the very, very end, and like you take out the weapons that you clearly don't know how to use, and like, yo, fight me! You're on the wall, the snow's falling, battle's going on outside. That's a great foil to that comedy side. And then, of course, it's the Swedish Seth voice. So you're like, oh, okay, it's a great.
Yeah. You're going to die. Yeah.
But Naz, I don't think I've only know like one character at a time for you. Is it the same for you? Or do you like to throw the all in that single character?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I'll roll a couple of characters. Like I said, in season 1, I made the mistake of making too many. And this go around, I tried to put more into one basket with my singular characters. But I'll still have a couple other ones I'll work with on the side to try to develop a little bit of side story, or do something a little bit different, because sometimes things can just get a little stale with the same situation all the time. So a little bit of both, I'd say, but definitely leaning more towards the one character at a time for me.
Yeah,
And do you find that you're getting more out of your personality during doing that?
Yeah, it makes it easier. For me personally, it makes it easier for me to connect with my character's personality, because I'm spending so much time with that character over hopping back and forth between the other different characters. And I really like to feel my character inside and out. I really like to put myself in every aspect and perspective of that character. So yeah, pretty much that.
Yeah, I can see it. People fall on one side or the other. If they have RP alts, it tends to be just that break from it for a little while. It's like I've been high drama today for a little while. Like, let me just go around and be obnoxious and throw balls at people, kind of thing.
Yeah, like one of my streams, it was before Nas died, and I was just the accent and the grumble I was using for Nas was really starting to get to my throat, and I had a really bad cold and stuff. So I was like, what, let's get a little change up. So I made a new character named Torloff, and he was like the savior of the server. I went around planting trees all over the place. Planted a lot over at Crucible, and go de-stumping and de-logging everything on the island while stealing everyone's poop and just having a blast doing it. And then I decided to tackle the mountain as my last feat, and the gods didn't like that. But you know, sometimes it is good to get a nice change of pace, you know, and just, you know, put your character on, you know, the back burner for a day or two. You know, it helps refresh you to get back into it.
Boog has a good question.
Yes, he does.
Nas, what was your first start into RP? How do you first gain interest into it?
Ooh, definitely a good question.
That should be a question for everybody. I think it's in general.
Yeah. For me, it was about 20 years ago. My cousin got me into D&D, and from there, it just I loved every aspect of it. You know, getting really in depth with your characters, your backstories, everything like that, and then getting, you know, with your friends, just with, you know, just imagining just this beautiful big world. You know, I was like 10 at the time, and I thought it was just the greatest thing ever. You know, and then I developed from going from the tabletop to games like Ultima Online into, you know, Asheron's Call over to World of Warcraft. You know, just, you know, constant evolving into different games, and roleplay just from that point forward was a big driving factor, because, you know, when it comes to gaming, every game gets to that certain boring grind at a certain point. You know, I'll use World of Warcraft for example. It's just the gear grind, raid, PvP, whatever it is. You know, roleplay for me is what helps break up the monotonousness of that grind. You know, it allows you to, you know, between your queues or between doing that, to, you know, go and have some fun interaction and stuff, and, you know, and to sometimes be someone who you're not. You know, it's it's a lot of fun, and, you know, especially with my D&D interactions and stuff, it also, you know, not just sparked my love for gaming, but it also sparked my love for drama, acting, everything from that point forward. I mean, it really changed my life, and a lot of decisions I made growing up to, you know, do things that were just enjoyable for me. And roleplay is just amazing. I can't do without it now. So.
What about you, Cole?
Me, so I first got into role playing with a game called Warhammer Quest.
Yep.
Going back into the late 90s with that. And from there, you know, we sort of evolved into D&D 3.5 when that came out. And that was really when it all sort of kicked off for me and my friends. Because Warhammer Quest was fun, but there wasn't too much RP involved. But then, you know, this whole world of Dungeons and Dragons opened up into a simple format with 30 source books added onto it over the next few years. It was amazing.
Shelf over there full of source books.
Yes. And I mean, after then, I went into a game system called World of Darkness, which is an amazing game system. And I actually, Buckle knows this, but not many other people do, but I actually LARPed in a
LARPing.
Into a Vampire the Masquerade World of Darkness. I did that for about a year. It was amazing. It was great fun. And really, I kind of fell in love with the whole RPG sort of thing, games and genre. And really, yeah, I suppose what really got me into it was probably Final Fantasy.
There you go.
Yeah. And yeah, it's kind of been a love ever since.
Yeah, it's
I
been good.
expect it will be for a long time.
Oh, another thing was Renaissance Fair. Loved going to the Renaissance Fair. That was epic times.
Nice.
Them turkey legs, man.
Oh yeah. Turkey legs and yards of beer.
Yep.
Mean.
No, the meat's too expensive. It's Renaissance fairs. How about you, Pax? You're known for mostly for the, you know, War Thunder games and, you know, combat sims. So coming into roleplay, it seemed like you clearly had the aptitude for it. And I know some of your backstory for acting and whatnot.
Yeah,
Thrown
no,
into
no.
it.
I got a quite a artistic background from like drawing lightly, self-taught. A lot of it self-taught. A lot of drawing, photography, film work. I did film work for quite a few years. Um, First RP experience was, I wouldn't even really count it because it was more like just having fun with good friends. But we were playing this group of Mexican workers in Arma, Altus Life, on the side of the road, just trying to get picked up by a truck to go work for them. We ended up working like a cocaine field and mowing lawn. And by mowing lawn, we just roll on the grass to flatten the grass. We like rolled this whole big patch of grass in order to get like paid. It was I went on this interesting, like they told me in the back of this truck we were getting chased by attack helicopter. It was insane. It was absolutely insane. Where my guy was, my Pedro guy ended up going in this. And my other friend who played this guy who didn't speak any English, he was just like, clean your house, mow your lawn. Like, why was there being attacked? It's because that's all he could know how to say. It was crazy. But my love for role play probably came from this, like with Valdemar and doing the first couple of characters, and I just got sucked into it. Got so sucked into it that even my wife was like getting a little like jealous, I guess, because I've for the game I wrote a poem that I was gonna read to Miranda, one character. I literally wrote a poem, and my wife's like, "You've never wrote me a poem before." I was just like,
Ouch.
"Oh, right."
Would you like this one?
It's work. There was no way out of that. I dug a hole deep. But that was the moment of where I'm sitting at work writing a poem. Like, yeah, I like this. This is fun. So it's just like improv. It's just like being back in theater.
Yep.
So, yeah, definitely coming from flight sims to this is a bit of a tangent, and it's definitely been a little questionable for a lot of my viewers. Like, what are you doing? Like, how you're not in a fuckable? I don't get it. But it's been absolutely a blast. Yeah, that was my first true RP experience. And the night, what night was it that really got me hooked? I think it was the night that I found out Miranda died, and I did the poem thing. I think that was the night where like I'm gonna continue doing this as long as I can, because it's been nothing but an absolute blast.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Bucky?
I'd always been tuned towards RPG games, but it wasn't until I was in my early teens I discovered a MUD, and I think like half the viewership here is too young to know what a MUD is, but it's a text-based RPG online game, and high fantasy, wizards and spells and monsters and shit, but you really get the roleplay story in there, and I got so pulled in. I got loved to creating the characters and playing the backstory or role-playing up other characters, and that rolled into D&D, and I was always playing with guys who weren't into it, so I started to get self-conscious about that, but still get to play the characters, get into the mindset of it, and just over the years it developed. And when Jam started playing like Reign of Kings RP, that love for it really came back because I hadn't done it for so long, and then that kind of like that fell by the wayside, and then this game came up, and I really got to really delve back into it between Life is Feudal and the D&D streams I do 2 nights a week with Thoglore. I really get to get back into it, and so it's all those years of really kind of figuring out who I was. I mean, it's kind of cliche to say, is like learning about RP as a teenager, and you're exploring all these stupid things going on in your head constantly, and everything's a first, but you get to like, I get to be the hero fantasy and learn how would this character go about doing these things that are happening to me in my life, and then growing into an adult, and looking back on kind of that stuff, and now I get to play new characters that are adults, or try to play young characters based on what I know now. It's this whole thing of developing a character, learning where they are, some of the stuff I talked about earlier, and getting to play it out, and then seeing where it goes, and not having any real consequences if someone cuts my head off, or I upset someone, or like I get to be a coward. It's all those things you get to play out, different facets of life that I can't normally do without some kind of weird stigma around it. I get to play out stories, I get to write stories, and then act them out, set them in motion. spin those, start spinning people around. I tell this one person this thing in game, and I tell this other person this thing in game, and then I get to see it play out. All of that is I'm just addicted to it, and this in particular brought it back for me. I write all the little updates for everyone's stream because I'm a super nerd writing fan fiction, that kind of stuff. All that kind of thing. I love doing that stuff, and it really lets my creative outlets flow in a way that I don't get to do in my day-to-day life.
I need to get that from you, by the way.
Oh, the update commands?
Yeah. yes.
I'll drop them in your channel, no problem.
Appreciate it. Definitely would. Because all the questions I get every time. So what's going on now? What's going on now? And I'm like, I don't know. or like after Nas died, I must have got asked a billion times what happened, and it's constant repeat. No command to just say this is what happened. There you go. Read it.
Well, those in general it helps because and Pax had a real great way of explaining this to me is when I asked him, like, it's because I was curious about how the RP rules in the server play out, and it's like, should every event in the game, like every encounter, confrontation, whatever have you, have a few minutes of RP that lead up to it, or is the world one continuous timeline? And if you've wronged someone days ago and they just come out of the blue and attack you, as long as it makes RP sense, whatever, is that all in fair play? And turns out it is. But it's tough for people who have different schedules, different things. They got kids, they got a job, they got all that stuff. How do we catch people up? And so I started thinking about that. I started seeing a lot of people season 1. What's going on? Why is Asher doing this? Who is this person he's killing? Let's start writing. I should start writing a little update. If I can bust out an update, here you go, and toss it out there, and people responded positively to it. So if you keep a running timeline of what's going on, lets me do my geeky little fan fiction nerdy thing, but also people get to keep up. And what's this character doing? Who's this character going? And then you start seeing other channels playing on Twitch Dynasty are doing their own thing using the same command, and so you can drop into a channel at any given time, like, ooh, this guy intrigues me. I like the stream. I like where this character's going. Exclamation point update. What are they doing? You're like, oh, cool. And so I'm trying to collate all those things together, and you see everyone's love for RP and these long-running stories, and it's and seeing everyone get involved, and you try to like Pax's intro. How do I get my name on there? Stuff. I'd love to get everyone in there, and so if you got your own channel, do your own thing, and then you can see everyone's love for their own characters, for the characters they're playing off with. You get to see them all together, and then hopefully you see a little of that, and you stick around for the stream and you see what they're doing. I don't know how we dovetail into that, but it's it all plays together with just people loving their own stories and loving the stories of the people they're playing with, which is maybe just as important.
Yep.
It's like, I can't wait to get in game and interact with that person because they're gonna make me laugh, they're gonna make me cry, they're gonna kill me, I'm gonna kill them. All that stuff, and then you fuck afterwards. You're in TeamSpeak, laughing at each other. Oh my god, that was great! Ha ha! That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Being able to divide it, I love that kind of thing.
Awesome.
Ooh,
All right.
Met her husband, his or her husband, through D&D. They still play on Fridays with friends. It's fantastic. D&D.
I don't have friends for D&D anymore. They all moved away.
Yeah.
I did too. That's what.
All mine got real lives, like kids and
Right.
stuff. I know. I mean, one of them moved to Ireland. I mean, jeez.
You put an ocean between our D&D game. Go to hell.
You bastard.
Exactly. He has no thoughts for how it would affect me. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Just waiting.
It's been gathering dust for 6 years.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have a blast just going on. If I'm bored, I'll just go and create a character here and there and just wait for that wonderful time I get to bust it out. Just get it all ready, going. I have a lot of fun doing that.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah. Alright. I think unless there's any more questions.
Let's open it up for full. Any kind of question, mechanic included at this point?
Yeah.
Q&A.
Certainly, this is our longest episode to date.
Yeah, I think it is, isn't it? Hey, we just roll with it.
Got a podcast, bro, man. Go where it goes.
A couple things I can go ahead and point out that a lot of people don't know is things of like getting quality. Like some people have a hard time getting quality fish, and they don't understand how some people do it. There you go.
Sorry.
Get 100 quality dirt, plop it in the water, stand on it, fish on it. You can get up to 100 quality fish. Easy peasy. Another thing too, how to get 100 quality water, same concept. You can even do that with wells. You can throw 100 quality dirt and flatten it and throw a well on top of it. No matter what the quality you build with the well, we'll give you 100 quality well for 100 quality water, which quality means everything. You know, if you're trying to get like 100 quality leathers or flax fiber or whatever, with the quality you make of your drying racks or your tanning tubs plays a big factor into that. I mean, you can have 100 quality hide, but it'll dumb down to like 85 if you don't have a, you know, good quality drying rack or tub to work with it.
Yep. But then you can then take it and get it back up to 100 quality clothing item if your tailor is good enough too.
Yep, exactly. You know, and that's another thing too with the shops and the outfits and stuff. They all play a big factor. Like once you get, you know, a blacksmithing shop, and then you get a blacksmithing outfit, you can use stuff like 75 quality, or even I think I've gone down to like 65 quality iron, and you can still make it in 100 quality because of all those boosts and percentage boosts that they add on to that, which is really helpful.
And don't be afraid if you've set up a blacksmith shop and then you've started making better quality gear with that, don't be afraid to tear that thing down and make a higher quality blacksmith shop to keep going to make better stuff. Just because you put a building down doesn't mean you can't tear it down and make it out of better stuff now that you know how. That's a big thing. Set up your little shanty town, get your stuff going, and then knock that shit down and start over, because it'll be faster and you'll get better stuff out of it.
Yep. Another thing, try not to move your tanning racks.
Really?
If you pick them up and move them, it sets their quality to 1. It's still a bug in the game.
I was not aware of that.
So I think it only has like a 5 or 10% factor in what the final quality of the item is.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it's worth noting, if you pick them up and move them, it does reset the quality to 1.
Yep.
We got about like 10.
They're so
10
cheap.
packs
Just
or
make
something.
new ones if you don't like where they are. Just stick some bone glue.
Well, I mean, your first ones you make them, you throw them down, you throw your shit on them, and then you set up, oh, here's my tanning area over here, and you move them all over there kind of thing. I know that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Prim asking the secret to honey. Honey is a big pain in the ass.
Yeah, how do you get honey working? I've never ever once collected honey.
So
What
you
am I
gotta-
doing wrong?
You need to make a 5x5 field, plant crops in it, harvest the crops, put your make a 5x5 field, put your thing right in the middle of it, your beehive, harvest the crops, then leave it alone until it starts to produce honey. And it may take 24 hours, take wherever, until it finally starts to produce honey, and then you can go back and plant your crops around it again. But
Yep.
that is such a pain in the ass. And it has to be 5x5. It can't be 4x3 or 10x10 or whatever, as long as you get a 5x5 crops around it. It's
I've played around with that too, and I found it works better if you have it raised as well.
really...
Mm-hmm. Like make sure it's something that's raised up instead of just like, you know, just flattening a 5x5 area, plotting your thing down. Raise that 5x5 up. Or what I would do would be I think a 7x7 and then do the 5x5 inside that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'll give that a shot. I mean, we get honey now, but on the first server, we were like putting them down and nothing was generating. Like going to forums and getting all mad.
Yeah, I've noticed with the honey, it comes more consistently, and you get it a little bit more often if you do that. So, kind of dumb you have to. There's a lot of dumb quirks in this game, let me tell you.
Yeah. So, Prim, I don't think it affects tanning tubs. I think it was only the drying racks. But from what I read, it would only set it to 1, not minus anything.
Speaking of Einar earlier, he just followed the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Coffee had a decent question. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah, I just saw that.
We'll check.
So Coffee says, I always love making up new voices for lots of characters and trying to find out what my voice can do. I have a few favourite voices that I love to burst out. The question is, do you guys have a favourite voice that bursts out?
That we
Bust
like to
out.
bust down.
Burst out, sorry.
For me, I always have a go-to voice. Definitely. It's just like anytime you do any type of voice acting or anything like that, just there's one voice that it's like your first voice, and it's always easy to go back to. It was your first love. It was your first little delve into it, and yeah. So I'm sure there's plenty of good voices that are to go there. Coffee, I know you can do some amazing voices, my friend. All the roleplay I've done with you at Southreach. Love your new character, by the way, Coffee. Totally awesome.
Stealing my granite today, Coffee. I saw that.
That shit's tough to make, man. 18 at a time for a 400 wall.
Yeah, we're doing
Just
the
gonna take some of
4,000
that.
keep. Ugh. Down in the south, that is a long, annoying run, let me tell you.
Yeah, I'll
I
bet.
imagine.
So me, I really don't do voices. I just never got round to it. My accents never last more than 3 seconds anyway. So, and I give Vesper enough shit for speaking Irish, French, Scottish,
Very well.
or, yeah, within the space of a single sentence. So I'm not going to give her any ammunition.
Yeah, I've never been a guy for voices or accents. I don't do them well. I'm messing around with a character named Giuseppe now, and the very first time I busted him out, ran into Pax playing BJ, and I just couldn't keep up. I kept breaking the accent and stuff, and now I'm like, I'm going to go sit in my corner and just practice this quietly. Like, I'm driving home from work, no one can hear me, I'm going to practice my little accent,
Just
see if I can do it.
You'll be amazed how easy it is to speak Italian if you just do this while you're playing the game.
I'll give it a shot.
Oh, so true.
Get
How you
close.
doing today?
I didn't want to be Mario, but yeah, that's right.
Oh, here we go.
So, yeah, it's outside my comfort zone. So in keeping with earlier, I'll try it. I'll give it a shot, and it's my attempt to make it a kind of a funny character, just kind of one of those things that's not drama based. But so that's where I'll try out a voice or an accent kind of thing. It's something where I don't have to stay serious the whole time, and I like sticking to the serious characters. That's where my strength lies.
Yeah. I know when I was dealing with accents and stuff, it was, I'll sit and practice it even in my every day-to-day duties and stuff like. Back in season 1, I was going with like a Scottish-Irish accent, and I went out to lunch with the wife, and I was ordering in that accent, talking to everyone in that accent, and it was gotta get into it. It was fun.
Decoy said she was doing the same thing too. At work, she was bringing Zoo to work. So like, cook cupcake. Like, really?
It helps. It really helps. Just
Never
live
get
it,
anything
love
done
it.
if you're playing the Zoo character. It's like a full season was like a paragraph out of her mouth. I fish, and that's the story of Zoo.
Hey,
Well,
she
that's
rocks that
like-
story though.
Yeah. No, definitely.
How do you go from a slave to the queen in the span of 4 weeks?
Jam.
All the while telling people off to the side saying like, nah, I don't RP, I'm not playing that game. You liar! You lied to us! Instead of playing a character. And now she's doing a new one with the crazy lady in the south.
No. You know what she sounds like? Mel from Flight of the Conchords.
Yep.
I'm not familiar, but...
Oh
A vein pops in his head.
my god. If you don't know, YouTube it, Mel. Mel from
Okay.
Flight of the Conchords. Listen to her talk. That is Lillian, I believe her name is, her voice in a
Yeah,
nutshell. And it is so good. And she plays a creepy person in Flight of the Conchords. She's like, Flight of the Conchords is a band.
Yeah.
New Zealand band, comedy band. And she's their biggest fan in that creepy sense, of like where she draws like paintings with like their faces on animals and stuff like that. So good. But that's basically her character in a nutshell. And and Deco is like, this is like her first RP experience too, from what I understand too. And she's been bringing some pretty interesting and dynamic characters for like voices too, like the whole thing, the whole package, the whole deal. I mean, but between just bringing like the character itself, but then a voice to go with it on top of that as well. And it's been just insane.
Yeah.
I hope she does more of the Lillian character. I mean, Zoo was cool, but A little dialogue is good too, because obviously you're sitting like, you give like a nice paragraph 10 or something, and you're just waiting for it, and she's like, yes. You're like, interesting choice of words. What do I do with that?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
since you don't have any facial expressions or anything else you can do in game.
Yeah, it's
You have a seizure or speak. Yeah, that's the only,
Yeah.
that's the only thing. Yeah, the female Asian-ish character in game needs some work.
I know that little bit open mouth is a little bit like a cat who just got done licking. And he's like, close your mouth, cat. You look dumb with your mouth open. It's the exact same thing.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
All right, what else we got for questions? Anything else?
I think that's the only ones I've seen. So, alright, well, I guess we'll wrap it up for now. So it's been great having you both here, Nas and Classy. Thanks for dropping by.
Yeah. It's my pleasure.
Yes.
I got a headache.
Left.
So shame Havoc gonna be here. I guess sleeping's more important, maybe.
His
If he
loss.
is sleeping, he could be anywhere.
Yeah, true. So anyway, but yeah, thanks for coming by, and thanks everyone in chat for keeping us company as usual. You've been awesome. Thanks for all the follows and all the people hosting. It all helps. Get us out there. Make sure everyone in the Dynasty knows about us.
Yeah.
And we'll be back next week, probably around the same time I'd have thought. But
Yep.
we'll see
Hopefully
how it
earlier.
goes. Maybe a little earlier. Maybe like on time for a change.
Indeed.
Well,
Maybe.
Do closing plugs?
Yes. So yeah, let's see if you could plug up these two awesome people for me. Make sure
Yeah, it seems-
everybody goes and drops them a follow on
How's that,
everywhere.
Did you just start streaming?
I just started at the beginning of season 2. Yeah.
Excellent. I was not aware of
Awesome.
that. So yeah, give Naz a follow. He's had some pretty pivotal plot moments so far on the server. So look for more of the same from your new characters.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah.
Definitely will. But yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It was fun. And all that good
No,
stuff.
anytime.
Yeah. It was good times.
Awesome.
And we take to be a guest on the stream, you do not have to be a streamer. I keep hearing that question a lot. You don't have to be a streamer. So if you're interested in hopping on, giving us your story, talking about some of the topics we're talking about for the day, send Mr. C here a message at Delving Dynasty on Twitter, and get in
please.
touch with him. He's the one who coordinates all that stuff.
Please
And,
do.
he's
Or I'm just going to start picking on people.
chase it down. He'll do it.
Do it!
I will. I'll take a rusty spoon.
Yeah, so streamer or not, make sure you if you want to talk, let him
We'll
know.
talk to anyone.
Yep.
So,
There's a lot of stories going
Look
on.
forward to
out
the
there.
next week.
Yep.
Everyone's coming back. Let it
Yes.
get lively again.
yeah, let's see how it goes. Alright, well, thanks everybody. I'm going to roll Classy's intro again, as I normally do. So please stick around. Don't look at me like that. It's awesome work, and you know it.
Very much as love that. Love his regular intro too. Do some
Yeah.
good work there, Classy.
Yes, he did. Alright. Thanks everybody, and we'll see you next week. Thank you very much.